Good evening, Deaf Worlders, once again. Welcome back to me narrating the Epstein Files. 1 second, cats, get out of the cupboard. Sorry, 2 seconds in the stream and already my kitties are misbehaving. Speaking of the kitties, let's go say hi to them. Now this is Clara. There we go. Dexter. Dexter, come up here. Come up here. Well, we have seen Dexter before. Let's get me straight on the ground. There we go. Good boy. So basically what they did was they just went into my cupboard. Not good. I don't want cats in the cupboard. I've got plenty of electronics and other props in there. So anyway, we're back with the Epstein Files. We're still going through dataset 4. And we're starting with the incident reports for Palm Beach. Now I scouted ahead. There are some narratable things in there rather than just charts, stats and figures, which is incredibly boring. However, I do still want to sort of mark their passage in a way, just to show that I am indeed narrating the entire thing, all of the Epstein Files. And as always, let me just see if I can just bring up the right page. I fully intend for any proceeds gained from this content and all of my other Epstein coverage to go to Speak Out, Act Reclaim, SOAR, founded by Virginia Guthrie, who is now unfortunately deceased. And while the organisation is not currently accepting donations and I was unable to set up any official fundraiser via YouTube, I will donate the proceedings when possible, or to a similar organisation if not, and proof of this will be released when I do so. Sorry, I glance over here. It is part of my script, because I have this in the description of every single Epstein Files coverage. So, you know, I'm not getting out of this. You know, I fully intend, to be honest, I fully intend for all of this money to go towards that charity and hopefully prevent things like that from happening again. And indeed, I like to shout out my fellow creators for also covering this content in their own way, covering the Epstein stuff, because it seems like the mainstream media and mainstream politics, they are in many cases letting us down, although some are doing quite well. In fact, there's a creator slash wannabe politician, Brandon Herrera. I like to give him a shout out, because he's dealing with a little mini Epstein at the moment. Someone he's running up against in Congress, and he only narrowly lost to last time, who's had an absolutely abhorrent personal life and done some atrocious shit, including leading to the suicide of one of his staffers, who he essentially pressured into an affair from the evidence that we can see. So let's go, Brandon. I hope he wins that. And of course, all of my other fellow content creators that are covering the Epstein stuff, that are making people aware of this, aware of the horrible stuff, and are making sure people can be held to account. You know, don't doom post. Don't say nobody's going to get arrested, nobody's going to be held accountable. The institutions may fail us, but on YouTube, on the internet, ordinary people, we're a lot of people. We can make sure people are held accountable in our own way if our institutions fail us. And there's a lot of corruption going on here. I mean, my country's own royal family and members of, sad to say, my country's government, they've been caught up in it. They're under questioning by the police. This is a massive nut to crack, and while cracks are appearing somewhere, in some places, other people are trying to get away with it. So just make sure they don't. Name names, do your bit, make everybody aware of exactly what went down, and let's get this victim some justice. Anyway, so we're carrying on today from file 7157, which is part of the way through dataset 4. And the date here is 7/25/06, time 8:47:53. Palm Beach Police Department Incident Report. Page 1, Program CMS 301L. I thought that was G for a second there. Now, we're going to get a lot of repeats with a few of these, because these are like vehicle information number 1, reporting information number 1. Some of these are going to be repeats, or some of these are going to be blank. I'm only going to do the relevant information after I tell you what all of the various sections are, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to go through that, but it's just in future iterations of the same sort of template, I'm just going to focus on the important information rather than repeats, or, you know, information that just simply isn't entered. So in this case, case number 105 000368. Special notes, do not release. Occur to date 1/27/05/0000. Day of week Thursday. Common location 358 Albrillo Way. City Palm Beach, Florida. Location type residence single family. Beat assignment Detective Bureau. Department class redacted. Case status open active. Supervisory date redacted 3/14/05. Entry date redacted 4/06/05. Names vehicles narrative nothing entered. Occur from date 1/27/05/0000. Report date 3/14/05/1600. Map reference 10. Report officer redacted. Case status DT detective I'm assuming or date 3/14/05. Property offences related cases nothing entered. Vehicle information number 1. Case number 105000368. State vehicle number. Make, model name, style, colour, bottom, VIN, disposition, insured by, vehicle locked, nothing entered. Date recovered 00000. I'm going to assume this is another case of no data entered, and it will be treated as such going forward. Street number, city, recovery code, be on lookout, redacted. Category, nothing there. Oh, sorry, I should have said redacted for the previous one. It's just nothing there. Year, 0. Again, I'm assuming this is nothing, no information entered. Model, permit number, color, top, license number, nothing entered. Stolen value, 0. Possibly a deliberate, possibly the default number that shows up if nothing is entered. Insured, keys and car, lien holder, nothing there. Recovery value, 0. Again, I'm assuming no entry. NCIC number, nothing there. Person reporting info, number 1. Now let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it properly. Case number 105000368. Last name, redacted. Street number, redacted. City, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33412. Birth date, age, redacted. Employer, nothing there. Occupation, nothing there. OPA lick number, redacted, FOF, FL. OPA lick number, I don't know. Operator license number. I'm sure someone can fill me in there. Occupation, nothing. Yeah, I already mentioned that. Home phone number, redacted. Race, white. Sex, female. Height, 0. Weight, 0. I'm assuming these are entries that are just not entered here. And 0 is the default. Other phone number, nothing there. Suspect/arrestee information number 1. Case number 105000368. Prompt valid in redacted. Street number, redacted. City, Royal Palm Beach, Florida, 334121460. Birth date, redacted. Maximum age, redacted. Employer, nothing there. Occupation, nothing there. Upper lick number, redacted. FL. Home phone number, nothing there. Other phone number, nothing there. Race, white. Sex, female. Minimum height, minimum weight, maximum height, 0. Page 2. Case number 105000368. Maximum weight, 0. Again, assuming that's just a default number. Now, all of these, aliases, hair color, hairstyle, glasses, facial hair, teeth, hat, shirt, shoes, body marks, number 2, body marks number 1, 2, 3, 4, arrest case number, MISC ID number, MO, crime spec, hair length, eye color, complexion, build, speech, coat, pants. All of those, no information entered. Status, still suspect. Additional UCR, nothing entered. Suspect arrestee information number 2. Case number 105000368. Prompt valid in, redacted. Street number, 358 Albrillo Way. City, Palm Beach, Florida, 000033480. Birth date, redacted. Maximum age, redacted. Employer, nothing there. Occupation, personal assistant / Epstein. Upper lick number, home phone number, other phone number, all redacted. Race, white. Sex, female. Minimum height, minimum weight, maximum height, maximum weight, all 0. MISC ID number, aliases, hair color, hairstyle, glasses, facial hair, teeth, hat, shirt, shoes, body marks, number 1, 2, 3, and 4, arrest case number, MO, crime spec, hair length, eye color, complexion, build, speech, coat, pants, nothing there. Status, still suspect, additional UCR, nothing there. Yeah, I think it's easier to go from the left column and then the right. Are you able to see my mouse? Yeah. Best to do all the left column and all the right, because it's sort of hard for me to sort of move between these, if that makes sense. Okay, suspect arrestee information number 3. Case number 105000368. Prompt valid in Epstein, Jeffrey. Street number 358 Opera Way. City, Palm Beach, Florida 000033480. Birth date redacted. Maximum age 52. Upper link number redacted, Florida. Race white. Nothing else entered. Again, because these are repeated headings and, column headings and stuff, and what they're asking for, I'm just going to skip over them because those are all repeats, and we can just say it's a repeat and we can move on. But as I say, stuff like age, race, I can still say that because that's new information. So just in case you're coming here new and you don't necessarily know how I'm narrating these, because otherwise it would be an impossible task to do absolutely everything, and it would be fairly redundant as well. As I say, I don't want to necessarily do redundant stuff, but I do want to narrate the entire thing. So I don't want to repeat myself. Okay, case number 105000368. No other information entered, but there is still a suspect. Now we got something else. Victim information number 1. And we got quite a lot of these. Buckle up. Case number 105000368. Prompt valid in, redacted. Street number, redacted. City, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33412. Birth date, age, redacted. Occupation, student. Occupation, phone number, redacted. Sex, female. Race, white. No other information entered. Victim information number 2. Case number 105000368. It's all the same case. If that changes, I will say, but in the future, I'm just not going to say that one. Prompt valid in, redacted. City, West Palm Beach, Florida, 000033480. Birth date, age, redacted. Home phone number, redacted. Race, white. Sex, female. Victim type, adult. My apologies, I must have missed this. Victim type is juvenile in the previous entry. Other phone number, redacted. Okay, so I'm going to make sure these excuse me, these columns are actually different. They did look the same for me upon first glance, so for the next entry I'm going to say all the different columns and then I'm going to treat them as repeats. I should not have treated them as repeats the first 2 times, but all that information, nothing was entered for these entries anyway. So when I do victim information number 3 here, I will do all the columns just so people know what they're asking for. Case number 105000368. Prompt valid in, redacted. Street number, nothing there. City, Palm Beach, Florida, 000033480. Birth date, age, redacted. Employer, nothing there. Case number 105000368. Occupation, nothing there. Home phone number, redacted. Sex, female. Weight, 0. I'm assuming that's just the default entry here. Be on lookout, nothing there. Victim type, juvenile. Resident status, nothing there. Can identify, nothing there. Injury extent, injury type 2 and injury type 1. Med treatment, phys last name. Height, open link number, MISC ID, residency type, file charges, victim sobriety, injury type 1, hospital ID, phys first name. None of that is entered. Other phone number redacted. Race white. I'm pretty sure I already said that. Victim information number 4. So I've basically said that. I'm only going to mention the information that is mentioned. Victim information number 4. Case number 105000368. Prompt valid in, redacted. City, Palm Beach, Florida, 000033480. Birth date, age, redacted. Home phone number, redacted. Race, white. Sex, female. Other phone number, redacted. Victim type, juvenile. Victim information number 5. Case number 105000368. Prompt valid in, redacted. City, Palm Beach, Florida, 000033480. Birth date, age, home phone number, both redacted. Race, white. Sex, female. Victim type, adult. Other phone number, redacted. Victim information number 6. Case number 105000368. Prompt valid in, redacted. Case number 105000368. City, Palm Beach, Florida, 000033480. Birth date, age, home phone number, both redacted. Race, white, sex, female. Other phone number, redacted. Victim type, juvenile. Victim information number 7. Again, case number and prompt valid is all the same. I'm going to treat that as a repeat going forward. Palm Beach, Florida, 000033480. Race, white. Sex, female. Victim type, juvenile. Other phone number, redacted. Now again, other phone number, redacted here and here. City is as Palm Beach, Florida. These are also repeats. So if it's a female, white, and a juvenile, those aren't necessarily repeats. So I'm just going to say that going forward. Victim information number 8. Sex, female. Race, white. Victim type, juvenile. Victim information number 9. Sex, female. Race, white. Victim type, juvenile. Again, these are all in Palm Beach, Florida, because this is a Palm Beach Police Department incident report. And this is just there. And we're already getting, we've got victim number 10 here, for example. We just covered victim number 9. There's 10 at least. There's going to be a lot more. So, yeah. First chatter of the night. Arthur's kitten boy wife. Love that name. Oh, joy, horrific truths. Yeah, horrific indeed. However, if anyone's going to read the entire thing for YouTube, it is going to be me. So, sadly, I've got to do it. Victim information number 10. Sex, female, race, white, victim type, juvenile. Again, rest of this information is redacted and repeats. Or indeed not entered at all. There's a lot of victim information. Details have not been filled out. Okay, race, white, sex, female, and victim number 11 is an adult. Victim information 12. Sex, female, race, white, victim type, adult. Victim information 13. Sex, female, race, white, victim type, juvenile. 14. Sex, female, race, white, victim type, juvenile. My apologies if you can hear my 2 little cats, my little gremlins, running up and down the stairs. I have been playing with them earlier. They tend to do that when I'm streaming or recording. So sorry about that. You'll have to... Yeah, I'm sure you guys will forgive me for that. They're happy to play. Victim information number 15. Sex, female, race, white, victim type, adult. Victim information 16. Sex, female, race, white, victim type, juvenile. Sex, female... victim information 17. Sex, female, race, white, victim type, juvenile. I will say, even though these sound like repeats, this bit I won't gloss over as a repeat, because these are victims. Like, they were female, they're all white, young female girls. Epstein did not seem to have a preference for other races, shall we say, because we saw earlier in the Epstein Files that they brought a black chick along, and he was just furious and absolutely just refused. And sad to say. Not only was he an absolutely horrific monster that abused young girls and young women, he was also incredibly racist as well. Just in case you didn't hate him enough. Anyway, let's carry on. Oh no, that's the end of the victim information there. Okay, 17 victims. 17 victims on this report. There are many, many more, I'm sure. Other person information number 1. Now, because this is a new heading and new information that's been asked for, I'm going to do all of the columns, just say what's in there, and then as we go along, if we find repeats, I'll just gloss over the repeats and just talk about the relevant information. Case number 105000368. Last name redacted. Street number redacted. City West Palm Beach, Florida 33411. Birth date, age redacted. I'll carry on down this column first. Birth date, age redacted. Occupation student. Home phone number redacted. Sex female. Weight 0. I'm assuming that's the default option. Nothing's actually entered. and nothing's entered for the other phone number, or employer or OPA lick number, whatever that is. Race, white, height 0. Again, I'm simply assuming that is just information not entered, represented by the 0. Person type, other person. Now that's vague, but this other person could be like a friend of one of the victims, or an acquaintance, or somebody that sort of went into Epstein then backed out. You know, sort of in that crowd. If they're a student, that would imply they're young. If they're female, you know, it's possibly in the friend group. Other person information number 2. Case number 105000368. Last name redacted. Street number 358 Umbrella Way. City, Palm Beach, Florida. 000033480. Birth date, age redacted. Sex female. Upper link number redacted. Race white. Height redacted. Person type other person. It's interesting that they mentioned the actual address. Like 358 Umbrella Way, I think that was Epstein's address. Other person of information number 3. Same case number. City, Royal Palm Beach, Florida, 33411. Different city. Well, West Palm Beach, Royal Palm Beach. How far away are all of these Palm Beaches? I mean, Florida's full of Palm Beaches, apparently. Sex, female. Race, white. Person type, other person. Other phone number, home phone number, redacted. Other person information number 4. City, Royal Palm Beach, Florida, 33411. Occupation is redacted. That's not a repeat. Occupation is outright redacted rather than just not entered. Sex, male. Race, white. Person type, other person. Yeah, I don't think Epstein trafficked boys, from what I can tell. I mean, he did have a massive network. It is possible that he did, but it's mainly about girls from what we've seen. So this could be a member of staff, an associate. It could be anybody, because a lot of this information is redacted. Other person information number 5. Sex, female. Occupation, redacted. Again, and race, white. Person type, other person. So other person, not entirely sure. Ooh, Samuel Lurie, 1354. My apologies if I mispronounced that. Just clocked out. What did I miss? You haven't missed much. I've only been streaming for about 20 minutes. Did my intro. We've basically been going through a police report. It's the same police report. Bunch of redacted people being arrested, plus Epstein, victims, and now we're going for additional people. But I've scouted ahead on this. There's some juicy stuff coming up, so you haven't missed that. Specifically, like, the actual reports being made by victims, from what I can see. But we'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, I've done that one. Next one. Employer information. New heading. Case number 105000368. Employer name, redacted. Address, redacted. City, state, zip, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33407. Phone number, redacted. Other person information number 6. Okay. Okay, we got a new city. City is Wellington, FL 33414. Occupation student. Sex male. Race white. Person type other person. Rest of that is information is repeat with redactions, missing out information. Employer information. Employer name redacted, address redacted, city, state, zip, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33415. So, as far as this other person information number 6 is concerned, same with 5. Because they've labeled they do have an employer, the employer information has to go onto that. So that's what this bit is, and that's going to happen for all of them that I presume that have an employer. Assuming, of course, they're not employed by Epstein, I'm assuming. They could just be other random people. Other person information number 7. City, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33412. Sex, male, race, white. And person type is another person. Other person information number 8. City, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33411. Sex, female. Okay, and that's what we got here. Nothing else entered. Oh, birth date age, that's clearly not entered. It's 0000000. So yeah, clearly they haven't entered that there. Other person information number 9. Okay, we've got some juicy stuff coming up. City, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33417. Sex, female. Race, white. And this is another person. Rest of this information redacted and hidden. Narrative, number 1. Original report. Hello, reported by redacted 9/20/05. Entered by redacted 9/20/05. This is more than 20 years ago. On 03/14/2005, I received a call from a woman who did not wish to identify herself, later identified as redacted. She stated that her 14-year-old stepdaughter, later identified as redacted, possibly may have been redacted in Palm Beach by a wealthy man. According to redacted, she learned of the possible redacted by a third party. She explained that she had received a call from the mother of her stepdaughter's friend. The mother claimed to have overheard a conversation between her daughter and a male friend. They were talking about redacted. The conversation was about how redacted had met with a 45-year-old man and had sex with him and was paid for it. I advised redacted that I would like to meet with her to obtain a more detailed statement and facts. Redacted stated she did not know what to do and had to discuss the matter with her husband. At this point, redacted did not provide me with a callback number or any other information. She stated that she would contact me once she had spoken with her husband and redacted mother. I'm assuming because this is the stepmother making the report, this is the bio mum. On 03/14/2005, received a call from redacted. They stated it was alright to speak to their daughter, redacted via cell phone, redacted. Her mother, redacted, had been made aware of the case. They agreed to meet me at the police department later this date, redacted. So yeah, the redactions here, protecting victims, don't speculate on who they are. They are clearly victims in this case. On 03/14/2005, Mr. Redacted, accompanied by his wife, redacted, came to the Palm Beach Police Department where they advised me that they believe their 14-year-old daughter may have had some type of sexual relationship with an older man who resided in Palm Beach. Neither knew the suspect's name or address. Both stated that their daughter did not talk to them about the incident, nor would she admit to it. Redacted identified his daughter as redacted, WF, DOB redacted, resides with her biological mother, redacted, at redacted, RPB 33411, redacted. Her sister, redacted, resides with Mr. Redacted. Both redacted and redacted are currently attending redacted school, which is an humongous redaction. The redacted also coordinates with the families to provide one-on-one as well as family counselling. According to Mrs. Redacted, she believes the incident occurred on Sunday, Feb 6, 2005. A friend of Redacted, named Redacted, picked her up at their house and left. They believe Redacted initiated the relationship with the older gentleman, though they do not have any proof. Redacted lives close by with her mother. Mrs. Redacted further explained that Redacted was introduced to Redacted by Redacted, a boy she was dating, and goes to Redacted. Mrs. Redacted continued that on Sunday, Redacted picked up Redacted and drove to Palm Beach, where they met the man. Supposedly, the man has a lot of money and often has young girls come over to his house. Redacted offers these girls a way to make fast cash. The man starts with a massage. If he likes them, he keeps them around and does more. The Redacted did not have any information on Redacted, other than she lives on Redacted. The redacted. Mrs. Redacted talked of a conversation that she had with Redacted, the mother of Redacted, a former friend of Redacted. She found it strange that they were no longer friends until she received the call from her mother telling her of the conversation she overheard between Redacted and a boy named Redacted. Mrs. Redacted told me of an incident that occurred on 02/09/2005. Redacted got into a fight at school. Redacted. Mrs. Redacted found over $300 in Redacted's purse. Redacted gave different explanations for the large sum of money. Initially, the school administration thought it was drug-related, but then dismissed the claim. Since that day, Redacted did not return to school. She ran away Thursday 02/10th or Friday 02/11th, and returned to her mother's house later that night after midnight. It was not until after Redacted received the call from Redacted's mother, Redacted, that she learned Redacted was the girl that got into the fight with Redacted. The fight was instigated when Redacted accused Redacted of being a prostitute. Redacted, who has legal joint custody of his daughter, Redacted, signed the affidavit of prosecution indicating he wished to prosecute against the inappropriate sexual behavior with his 14-year-old daughter. Mr. Redacted stated that he had no objections with our agency speaking with his daughter, Redacted, about the incident. Mr. Redacted stated that Redacted mother, Redacted, is aware of the allegations and also is willing to cooperate. According to Mrs. Redacted, she does not believe her daughter had any additional contact with the suspect, as she was with her mother and then placed into Redacted. I contacted the school board police, who provided me the information for Redacted, also known as Redacted, West Palm Beach, Florida. Checking the school board records for Redacted, there was no disciplinary record found. I was advised if no disciplinary action was taken for a fight, such as an expulsion or detention, the incident may not have been recorded. This was at the discretion of the individual school security and principal. 03/15/2005. I called the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and left a message for PBSP Sergeant Redacted, Child Abuse Unit. On 03/15/2005, I went to Redacted, where I met with white female Redacted. Also present was Redacted therapist. During an audio-taped interview, I spoke with Redacted about the allegations that were made. Redacted initially denied anything that had happened, only admitting to going with Redacted, later identified as Redacted, to Palm Beach to pick up money Redacted was owed. Redacted identified Redacted as the Redacted of her former Redacted. She ultimately admitted to knowing that Redacted worked for a wealthy man and possibly did sexual favors for him. She also admitted that Redacted had offered her an opportunity to make money. Redacted identified Redacted's boss as a white male named Jeff, who lived in Palm Beach, later positively identified as Jeffrey Epstein. Redacted explained that she was first approached by Redacted to go with her to Jeff's house, when they were at Redacted's house. According to Redacted, she was not sure exactly what was going on with Redacted, but agreed to go with her. Redacted's boyfriend, became angry when he heard Redacted inviting Redacted to accompany her. Redacted believed it was to pick up money the man owed Redacted. Stated Redacted told her that she would pick her up at her house on Sunday. Redacted was not sure of the exact dates, but knew it was a Sunday. According to Redacted, along with an unknown, possibly Redacted female, picked her up at her father's house on Redacted. Redacted told her father that they were going shopping. It was later confirmed by Redacted that Redacted picked his daughter up. According to Mr. Redacted drove a Redacted. Redacted drove Redacted along with the unknown female to Palm Beach. Sometime on the way there, a conversation occurred between Redacted and Redacted, whereby Redacted told Redacted that if Jeff asked her Redacted age, she should say she was 18. Redacted recalled that Jeff's house was on a dead-end street. All three girls walked up a driveway, past what appeared to be a small guard/security room. In fact, Redacted recalled a male approaching them asking what they wanted. Redacted stated they were there to see Jeff. The male allowed them to continue walking up to the house. Redacted stated the man told them that Epstein was not there but was expected back. He allowed them to enter the house via the kitchen. He offered them something to drink while they waited inside. Shortly after, Epstein and a woman, described as white with Redacted hair, entered the kitchen. Redacted believed the woman was Epstein's assistant. Redacted added that the woman did not seem friendly and kept her responses short and direct. Epstein introduced himself to Redacted as Jeff. Redacted got the impression that Epstein and Redacted friend knew each other. Redacted described Epstein as being approximately 45 years old, a long face and bushy eyebrows, with graying hair. Redacted and Redacted left the kitchen, leaving Redacted and Redacted's friend alone in the kitchen. They returned a short time later. They all spoke briefly in the kitchen. While speaking to me, Redacted became upset and started to cry. Redacted stated the woman instructed her to follow her upstairs, which she did. According to Redacted, the woman led her to a room that had a massage table in it. The woman started to fix up the room, putting the covers on the table and taking lotions out. She then told Redacted that Epstein would be up in a second. The woman left the room, and soon after, Epstein walked in and told Redacted to take off her clothes. As Redacted was telling me what had happened, she looked away from me, and with a pointed finger, repeatedly pressed it into her thigh. Redacted stated he was stern when he told her to take off her clothes. Redacted said she did not know what to do, as she was the only one there. Redacted, shirt, leaving her bra on. Epstein, dressed in a towel, told her to take off everything. Redacted stated she removed her pants, leaving her thong panties on. Epstein then instructed her to give him a massage, pointing to a specific lotion for her to use. Epstein laid on the table, face down. As Redacted began to give Epstein the massage, he told her to get on his back. Redacted stated she straddled herself on Epstein's back. Redacted stated, Redacted. As Redacted was giving Epstein the massage, he turned around. Redacted later explained that Redacted stated she was disgusted by Epstein's actions, but did not say anything. According to Redacted, Epstein told her that she had a really hot body. Epstein excused himself and went to the bathroom, where she believed he masturbated. Redacted. Epstein returned to the room and told Redacted that he was done, and gave her $300. They went back downstairs, where they met Redacted. Epstein said goodbye and they left. Redacted asked Redacted how did it go, and asked what did she, Redacted, do. When Redacted told Redacted that Epstein asked for a massage, Redacted allegedly stated, I know. Redacted stated they then went shopping. Redacted stated Redacted also got paid, but that she did not know why, since she was confident that Redacted did not do anything. Redacted described Epstein's house as a 2-story pink house, with a Cadillac Escalade parked in the driveway. There were gates leading into the property. From the kitchen, Redacted recalled walking up a flight of stairs, lined with photographs, to a room. Upon entering the room, there was a large bathroom to the right. Redacted recalled a hot pink and green sofa in the room. There was a door on each side of the sofa. Redacted recalled there being a mural of a naked woman in the room, as well as several photographs of naked women on the shelf. Redacted stated Epstein did not change in front of her, but did take off his towel, exposing himself. Redacted recalled Epstein being hairy, especially on his chest. Epstein also had a hairline that continued to his buttocks. Redacted admitted to seeing his penis, asked Redacted if she knew what being circumcised meant, and she stated no. Redacted then said that she thought Epstein was on steroids because he was a really built guy, and his wee-wee was very tiny. Gonzalez would explain that when she stated wee-wee, she meant penis. Redacted stated Epstein exposed himself when he took his towel off, placing it on the floor as he lay down on the table. Redacted said Epstein was specific in his instruction to her on how to massage, telling her to go clockwise, etc. Redacted recalled that Epstein got up from the table and went to the bathroom where she heard him making what she believed to be a sexual type of noises, moaning. He then returned to the room where he again lay down on the table. Epstein then turned over and extracted Redacted to Redacted. As she did this, Epstein continued to make moaning noises. Redacted resumed massaging his chest area. Redacted was now standing on the ground. Epstein turned to his side, and with the towel on the ground, Redacted. Redacted stated Epstein, Redacted. Redacted recalled Redacted to wipe himself as he got off the table. He also recalled Epstein having a noticeable freckle on his chest. Epstein then left the room and Redacted got dressed. She went back downstairs where she met Redacted and the unknown white female. Redacted admitted to getting paid $300 in cash from Epstein. Before they left, Epstein asked Redacted to leave her phone number. As they were leaving the house, Redacted asked Redacted what had happened and how much she was paid. Redacted stated Redacted seemed upset or jealous when she told her that she received $300. Redacted stated received only $200 that day. Redacted stated that she believed Redacted was paid $200 for bringing her. Redacted told Redacted that if they do this every Saturday, they could be rich. Gonzalez agreed. They then went shopping, though she is not sure where, possibly at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. Redacted stated she never saw Redacted again, as she got into a fight at school. She had not spoken with Redacted either, as her mother took away her cell phone. I asked Redacted if she was aware of any video equipment while she was in the room. She stated no. Redacted stated that she was afraid that Redacted would retaliate against her or her family if she ever went to the police regarding the incident. Redacted stated that her father's Redacted was recently redacted, admitted to telling Redacted what had happened with Epstein. According to Redacted, Redacted became angry and upset, punching a hole in the wall. Redacted guessed that it was Redacted who told Redacted about the incident, and now there were rumors in school about Redacted and what she did with Epstein. I then talked to Redacted about truth and lying. We talked about the color sweater she was wearing. Redacted denied having sexual intercourse with Epstein. She denied touching his penis. Redacted again admitted Redacted. Redacted agreed to cooperating with the police department in placing a phone call to Redacted in a controlled setting. I met with Ms. Redacted and advised her of the families, as well as Redacted's willingness to cooperate with this investigation. Copies of this interview were placed into evidence. I made contact with Redacted, mother of Redacted, advised her briefly of my investigation. She was aware of the incident and stated that she overheard a portion of a conversation that her daughter was having with a boy named Redacted. Redacted stated that it was her opinion that both girls liked Redacted. Redacted recalled hearing her daughter calling Redacted a whore. Redacted admitted that she did not listen to the entire conversation, but did confront her daughter about it later. Redacted told her mother that something to the effect that Redacted has slept with an older man for money. Redacted stated that she would not object to me speaking with her daughter. It was Redacted's belief that everyone in the school may have known about this because of the fight that her daughter, Redacted, had gotten into. I reminded Redacted that this was an ongoing investigation and requested she not discuss the fact that I had contacted her. She agreed. On 03/16/2005, PBSO Sergeant Redacted left a message that he was returning my call. I spoke with Redacted and discussed the case with him, and inquired if he had any open allegations or cases where the suspect resided in Palm Beach. Redacted stated he was unaware of any. Redacted offered any assistance if needed. Redacted stated it was his experience that due to the age of the parties involved, it would be difficult to interview them and expect the investigation to remain confidential. Because of the time delay, there was no need for the victim to be taken to a medical facility for a physical for the purpose of obtaining evidence. Heavy redaction. On 03/17/2005, I queried Jeffrey Epstein on the internet and obtained a photo of Epstein to be used in a photo lineup. I met with Redacted, at which time she viewed the photo lineup. She immediately recognized Epstein and pointed to him, position 5. Redacted signed the photo lineup under Epstein's picture. This signed lineup was placed into evidence. On 03/18/2005, I met with Redacted at her residence for the purpose of placing a controlled call to Redacted. Redacted spoke with Redacted and asked if she could arrange another meeting with Jeff. Redacted stated that she would have to call him and make the arrangements. A copy of this conversation was placed into evidence. 03/19/2005, I spoke with Redacted, and Redacted, and was advised that Redacted left the state to visit with her aunt and uncle. Redacted is scheduled to return to Florida on 03/27/2005. 03/21/2005, I coordinated with PB-BSF unit and OCFAN to initiate surveillance on 358 El Brillo. 03/21/2005, coordinated with Detective Redacted regarding trash pulls from 358 El Brillo. On this same date, I called Redacted to schedule an appointment to speak with Redacted. She stated the school guidance counsellor was reluctant to have police present at the school. I assured her that I would respond to the school in civilian clothes and an unmarked vehicle. Redacted called me back and advised that I did not need to make an appointment to see Redacted. I received a return phone call from Redacted stating that Redacted would be attending the Redacted with Redacted. I received messages from Redacted. I conducted a computer query on Epstein. The results of this query indicated the most recent driver's license on file for Epstein was for the state of Florida, which had expired. A cross-reference of Epstein's residence, 358 El Brillo, Palm Beach, revealed the following affiliated names: Redacted, WF, DOB, Redacted, WM, DOB, Redacted, WFWM, white female, white male. And Ghislaine N. Maxwell, UK, F, DOB, Redacted. A computer query for both returned no history. On 03/23/2005, I spoke with Redacted, cell phone, WK Redacted. I requested that she not discuss the incident with anyone, including her daughter Redacted, as I did not want the investigation compromised. I was told at this time that Redacted have not been getting along due to the fact that Redacted has decided to continue living with her father. On 03/29/2005, I placed telephone calls to both the Redacted and Redacted residences, requesting to speak with them regarding the investigation. I received return phone calls from Mrs. Redacted and Mrs. Redacted, and advised them that I would be contacting Redacted to coordinate a time to meet with Redacted. This was at the request of both Redacted and Mrs. Redacted, that Redacted's schedule be disrupted as little as possible. I also updated them to the investigation thus far. Both Redacted and Redacted stated they had no objection to my meeting with Redacted. In speaking with Ms. Redacted, she identified the cell phone number of Redacted as being the phone assigned to Redacted. Ms. Redacted had no objections and provided consent to giving it to the police department for the use of placing controlled phone calls from it. Redacted stated the phone had been taken away from Redacted as part of her punishment for not doing well in school. According to Redacted, Redacted used to be an excellent student, but in the past 2 months has become irritable, verbally abusive to the family, and has run away. Redacted stated her daughter's recent behavior is the opposite of what she normally is. Redacted stated they are going through Redacted with the school, but none of this has come up. Arrangements were made for Detective Redacted to retrieve the cell phone from Redacted at her place of employment. I called Redacted, and requested to speak with Ms. Redacted. Upon speaking with Ms. Redacted, she advised me that she was in the middle of Redacted and would call me back once the Redacted were completed. Ms. Redacted stated the session should be concluded by 7 p.m. At approximately 8 p.m, I had called Ms. Redacted, at which time I left a message on her voicemail requesting a return phone call. I spoke with Ms. Redacted and advised her that I did not meet with her daughter and that I would again attempt to coordinate a time with the counsellor so as not to disrupt Redacted's school schedule. Redacted had no objections. Shortly after speaking with Ms. Redacted, I received a call from Ms. Redacted. I explained the situation and requested a time to meet with Redacted. Back reviewed Redacted's schedule and advised that Redacted will be available after 3 p.m. On 03/30/2005, I met with Ms. Redacted and Redacted at Redacted. I reminded Redacted of her conversation with Redacted. During this time, Redacted initiated a conversation with me in which she admitted she was not telling me everything that had happened during the time she was alone with Epstein. According to Redacted, while she and Epstein were alone on the second floor, Epstein used a Redacted. Redacted stated there was Redacted. I asked Redacted if Epstein ever asked her age, and she stated he had. Redacted stated she told him she was 18. When Epstein asked what school she was in, Redacted responded she was in the 12th grade at Redacted. During the course of this incident, Gonzalez stated Epstein told her that Redacted had worked for him for years. We then continued with a control call to Redacted. At approximately 3:35 p.m, Redacted, from her cell phone, made a call to Redacted's home. Redacted was not home. Redacted was told that Redacted was at work in a double and could be reached on her cell phone. Redacted, WF Redacted, is employed at Redacted, located on Redacted in Wellington. Redacted called Redacted. During the conversation between Redacted and Redacted, Redacted asked Redacted what happened, stating that she heard rumours that Redacted was going to press charges. Redacted asked if they, meaning Redacted's parents, knew about Jeffrey. Redacted claimed to have heard that Redacted's father had found out about Jeffrey. Redacted told Redacted that they, her parents, did not know anything about Epstein. Redacted told Redacted that Epstein needed someone to work tomorrow and asked if she was available. Redacted stated she would call Epstein and then call Redacted back. During the course of these conversations with Redacted, she would at times appear to be articulate and well-spoken. She would then start to act in an immature manner by looking around, not paying attention, drawing on a paper. Redacted would offer me a high five whenever she claimed to have told me the truth in the details of the afternoon at Epstein's house. Redacted would sit in the chair with her knees propped up to her chest as she admitted that she did not tell me all of the details of her encounter with Epstein during our first meeting. As a means of positive reinforcement, I would high-five Redacted. On 03/31/2005, subpoena requests for Redacted, Redacted, and Redacted, Redacted, and Redacted phone numbers were drafted. On 04/01/2005, I met with members of PB-BSF unit for the purpose of conducting surveillance on 358 El Brillo. Cross-reference supplement. On 04/01/2005, I met with Detective Redacted of the Palm Beach Police Department, who provided me a copy of the concealed weapons permit for Mr. Epstein. It revealed Epstein had a valid permit. There was no current photo attached to the renewal notice. On this same date, I queried various different websites for a possible identification of the purple item retrieved from the trash pool from 358 El Brillo. The item was similar in description as the one described by Redacted and used by Epstein. I made contact with spicygear.com and spoke with the owner, Redacted. I emailed a photograph of the item for his opinion. He identified the items as a jelly anal wand of some sort. The item is easily available at sex shops in South Florida. 04/06/2005. I conducted business queries into Epstein utilizing the internet. I located articles relating to financial reports. There was no local history. On 04/01/2005 to 04/03/2005, with the assistance of Redacted, there was... There was continued surveillance on the property. Sorry, I didn't see that next line. On 04/04/2005, I obtained a copy of voicemail messages, dated 03/31 and 04/01 from Redacted to Redacted. A female identifying herself as Redacted states that she could pick Redacted up to take her to Epstein's house for an 11 o'clock appointment. A copy of this was placed into evidence. On 04/05/2005, a trash pull was conducted at 358 El Brillo by Detective Redacted and me. There were several messages written on various forms of papers. There was a message from Redacted indicating Redacted 1100, I should say. The following was additional information obtained from trash retrieved from 358 El Brillo. Jean-Luc, 6:20 a.m. Redacted. 5. I think that's a 5. Yeah, 5. Redacted. 1 times. Redacted. I'm assuming this is various evidence pulled in. Friday, 5:30 p.m. Redacted, and redacted. A message received dated 4/4/105. Redacted. She is looking to speak to you. Redacted. I thought that was like a winky face or something, like an emoji. On 04/06/2005, I faxed subpoena requests to SA Redacted office for Epstein. Redacted and redacted phone records. Phone numbers Redacted, and Redacted. On 04/06/2005, I recalled Redacted. Redacted extension Redacted, and spoke with Principal Redacted. He confirmed that they had a student by the name of Redacted. He requested a written request prior to releasing any additional information. On this same date, I faxed Redacted a request with student and parent information on Redacted. I advised Redacted that due to this being an open investigation, he was not to discuss the matter with anyone. On 04/08/2005, I received a message from Redacted, providing me the following information. Redacted, WM, DOB, Redacted, Wellington, Florida, 33414. Parent's name, Redacted, work, Redacted. Detective Redacted provided me with trash obtained from 358 El Brillo for 0406 040705. The following information was retrieved. Jet Aviation 800 538 0724 itinerary, indicating a departure date of 04/05/2005 at 4 p.m. with an arrival in New York City of 6:15 p.m. Flight crew captain Redacted, co-captain Redacted, flight engineer Larry Morrison. Call sign N908JE. A note stating, by J, thank you, Redacted. Handwritten notes and messages. 11, Redacted. 12:30, chicken. Redacted, 4, 3rd September. Redacted times 8. Redacted work Sunday at 4 p.m. Redacted Monday after school. Left message for Redacted. Redacted works 4 to 9 Monday and Tuesday. Leaves school at 8:30 a.m. Redacted will be here tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Mrs. Redacted. There was no trash for 04/08/05. 04/22/05 received the results of a subpoena request from Redacted for Redacted. The results only provided subscriber information. I contacted Redacted, Investigative Subpoena Compliance Center, who stated the request was not complete and the results would be sent to cross-referencing the names Redacted and Redacted, as well as phone numbers, which were obtained from message notes via trash pulls. I identified the before-mentioned individuals as being acquainted with someone at 358 El Brillo. Redacted DOB Redacted, FL DL number Redacted, and Redacted. DOB Redacted, FL Redacted are both above the legal age of consent. On 05/03/2005, I spoke with Redacted and updated her on the investigation. Redacted stated that Redacted was doing well in the school. Her contact with the outside is limited, as they do not have access to the phones. Redacted, and she is not allowed to go anywhere alone. On 05/11/2005, I made arrangements to meet with Redacted. On Thursday, 05/12/05, I spoke with Redacted regarding the case. They will be moving to Redacted. They will be very busy over the next few weeks, but would be available via phone. We'll coordinate a date to meet to discuss the matter further. During this week, I conducted surveillance at Epstein's residence and at the airport, but there was nothing to indicate that Epstein was in town. Due to conflicting appointments, rescheduled until 06/02/2005 to meet with Ms. Redacted. I also spoke with Redacted and updated her to the investigation. Oh, excuse me. On 06/02/2005, I met with Redacted. Redacted advised that she could be reached via her cell phone until she is able to provide me with her new contact information. I also received a message from Redacted. Attempted callback, but the line was busy. June 14, 2005, I received information that Epstein's plane was at Jet Aviation. I spoke with Detective Redacted regarding surveillance. I called the Redacted and asked for Redacted. I was advised she was not working today. This would indicate that Redacted was still employed there. On 07/07/2005, I faxed subpoena requests to SA Redacted office for Epstein, Redacted and Redacted's phone records. Phone numbers Redacted and Redacted. The original subpoena requests only provided subscriber and billing information. On 07/20/2005, conducted a trash pull arranged by OFC. Redacted. Inside, there were misc papers with phone numbers and names. There were misc female hygiene products in the trash. Based on a prior AutoTrack report done on 358 El Brillo, a possible subject residing in the residence is Redacted. Redacted fit the description provided by officers who had conducted surveillance in the area of a female seen entering and leaving the residence. On 07/21/05, I received the Redacted, dated 07/18/05, which was clerked by ASO. On 07/26/2005, I received the results of Redacted's subpoena. On 08/04/05, I received Redacted from Redacted with the results of the query. I spoke with Redacted, who confirmed that Redacted was still living out of state. It appeared that all was going well. I left a message for Redacted at Redacted. On 08/08/2005, I received the results of Redacted subpoena. During the week of 09/08/2005, I checked 358 El Brillo and the Palm Beach International Airport, but there was no direct indication that Epstein was in town. On 09/08/2005, I reviewed the case notes of this file, as the case will be turned over to Detective Redacted. On 09/11/2005, while on patrol, I conducted a check at Epstein's residence and found that it still had the hurricane shutters on. On a drive by the Palm Beach International Airport later that afternoon, I did not observe Epstein's plane. On 09/14/2005, I conducted a check at the Palm Beach International Airport, but did not see Epstein's plane. On 09/19/2005, I spoke with Redacted to keep her updated and to find out if there was any change of address or phone numbers for Redacted. I was told no. I left a message for Redacted at Redacted in order to provide her with Detective Redacted's information. Narrative number 2. Reported by Redacted. Entered by Redacted. Both 9/21/05. On September 19, 2005, I met with Officer Redacted and received the information pertaining to this case. Members of the burglary strike force had previously been conducting surveillance on both Epstein and Redacted. Officers Redacted was assigned to monitor the Epstein home, and Sergeant Redacted and Officer Redacted were assigned to monitor Redacted. Both teams provided a surveillance log that would be placed into the attachment file. Detective Redacted was assigned to relieve Officer Redacted at 4 p.m. He informed me that at approximately 8 p.m., Epstein had left for the airport and his private jet was sitting on the tarmac. Epstein's private vehicle drove to the jet and unloaded packages into the jet. It appeared that Epstein left the country at this time. Surveillance will continue to determine when Epstein will return. Investigation continues. Narrative number 3. Reported by Redacted. 9/23/05. Entered by Redacted. 9/23/05. On Friday, September 23, 2005, at approximately 1:45 p.m., I began to copy a tape microcassette under case number 05368 and property number 05243, tape number 1. I placed the tape in the Telex copyette, Series 2 machine, and began to go through the copying process. Approximately half through the tape wrapped around the spindle and became locked and stretched the tape. I examined it and determined that it was in the best interest to leave it, as it is a prior copy. Leave it as it is, as a prior copy had been made and turned over to Sergeant Redacted. I immediately took the tape to Sergeant Redacted and allowed him to examine it, and then obtained the copy from him and Detective Redacted, and brought the copy of the tape down and made a copy for him based on that. The tape was placed back in the original container and is retained in the evidence bag under the previously mentioned property number of 05243. It is not advisable to attempt to copy this tape, as further damage could result to the recorded material, and there is an existing copy anyway. Narrative number 4. Reported by Redacted. Entered by Redacted. Both dates 9/26/05. On 3/24/05 at 11 p.m., a copy of tape 2, case number 05294, had been made for Detective Redacted by evidence specialist Redacted. The copy was turned over to Detective Redacted. On Friday, 09/23/05 at approximately 2:15 p.m., I was in the process of reproducing audio tapes, micro and standard, to standard size when it was discovered. In the test review process, that tape number 2 was blank. I notified Sergeant Redacted and Detective Redacted. I was informed that they had a prior copy, and I could use it to make a master tape. I did so, and when reviewing and signing the evidence sheet, I noticed evidence specialist Redacted had written number 2 is blank. I obtained that copy from Detective Redacted and made a new copy on a standard size tape. The new copy was placed in the evidence bag under property number 05294 with the blank tape. Narrative number 5. Reported by redacted redacted, entered by redacted redacted redacted. Both dates 9/28/05. No, that's wrong. Reported by on 9/26/05, entered by date is 9/28/05. My apologies. Both of them look similar. Well, similar if you squint. Copies of the tapes that were submitted into evidence were requested. Additionally, trash pulls were started on September 21st, 2005. Sergeant Redacted made telephone contact with Redacted of Redacted Redacted Redacted, and requested that trash be collected at the Epstein house located at 358 Brillo in Palm Beach. Sergeant Redacted met with Redacted 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 and observed him enter the property at 358 Brillo. Shortly thereafter, Redacted exited the property and placed the 3 white trash bags in the empty well in the rear of the truck. Redacted then drove away, where he met with Sergeant Redacted, who removed the bags from the well and placed them into one large black trash bag. The bag was returned to the police station, where I was waiting for him. Upon his arrival, we inspected the bags, where several notes and papers were found. These notes contained names of girls with times. Additionally, there was a note from Redacted and Redacted to Jeffrey Epstein on a notepad, which stated, "For a good time, call Redacted and Redacted at Redacted." Also, there was another telephone number on the note, Redacted. Also found was a written note which stated, "Redacted cannot come at 7 p.m. tomorrow because of Redacted." These items were written on notepads that contained Jeffrey Epstein on the bottom of the notes. These items were placed into evidence for future follow-up. I requested subpoenas for subscriber information on the telephone numbers listed above on the note from Redacted and Redacted. The cellular telephones Redacted and Redacted are both assigned to Singular Cellular Service. Other notes were found within the trash of Jeffrey Epstein's pad, and papers that contained telephone numbers. One note had Redacted with Redacted written on it. This cellular number is assigned to Redacted Redacted. Another sheet had written Redacted, which is assigned to Bell South Telecommunications. The subpoenas were picked up and submitted to Singular and Bell South Telecommunication for subscriber information. On September 22nd, 2005, I was informed by Sergeant Redacted that there would be no trash pickup as it was recycle pickup day. A request for copies of the micro and standard size cassettes were requested from crime scene to familiarize myself with the interviews conducted. On September 23rd, 2005, the tapes were received, and I began to become familiar with the interviews that were conducted. Detective Redacted had met with Town of Palm Beach Redacted 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 and observed him enter the property of 358 Brillo. Shortly thereafter, Redacted exited the property and placed the 3 white trash bags in the empty well in the rear of the truck. Redacted then drove away, where he met with Detective Redacted, who removed the bags from the well and placed them into one large black trash bag. The bag was returned to the police station, where I was waiting for him. Upon his arrival, we inspected the bags, where several notes and papers were found. The notes will be inspected for future use. The items collected were placed into evidence. It became evident that some of the recordings were recorded with background noise and some interference. The calls most affected were the control phone calls from the victim to the suspect Redacted. I obtained the graphic equalizer and discovered that the calls are able to be legible with the use of the equalizer by lowering the background noise and increasing voice gain. I also learned that a tape was broken during the copying of the tape. I returned the copy of the tape marked property number 05243 to have it recopied to have an original in evidence and a working copy with the file. Upon researching the file, it was discovered that the suspect, Redacted cellular calls, were subpoenaed incorrectly. The suspect telephone number was redacted, and the original request was for Redacted. I requested the information through Singular Cellular Service from February 2005 through the present. The purpose was to have a record of Redacted making calls to victim. Jeffrey Epstein and the frequency of calls. The request was submitted to the State Attorney's Office. Investigation continues. Don't mind me, just need a drink. Narrative number 6, reported by redacted 10.06.05, entered by redacted 10.06.05. On or about September 23rd, 2005, at approximately 09:15 hours, I responded to 358 Brillo and met with PB redacted. Redacted had been previously notified to assist in trash pulls at the residence of Jeffrey Epstein, 358 Brillo, Palm Beach, Florida. I observed Redacted enter the driveway of 358 Brillo and remove several plastic bags of trash and place the contents into the back of an empty sanitation truck. I then followed Redacted to a predetermined location and seized the trash from the truck. The trash was transported to the Palm Beach Police Department, where I began sifting through its contents. There was a total of 4 white in color plastic bags, and each contained documentation and correspondence for 358 Brillo and Jeffrey Epstein. All documents of evidentiary value were removed and turned over to Detective Redacted for follow-up. On or about September 26, 2005, at approximately 0900 hours, I responded to 358 Brillo and met with PB Redacted. Redacted had been previously notified to assist in trash pulls at the residence of Jeffrey Epstein, 358 Brillo, Palm Beach, Florida. I observed Redacted into the driveway of 358 Brillo, where no trash was located within the receptacles. I left the area without incident and notified Detective Redacted to that effect. On or about September 27, 2005, at approximately 09:15 hours, I responded to 358 Brillo and met with PB Redacted. I observed Redacted enter the driveway of 358 Brillo and remove one plastic bag of trash and place it in the back of an empty Redacted truck. I then followed Redacted to a predetermined location and seized the trash from the truck. The trash was transported to the Palm Beach Police Department, where I began sifting through its contents. There was a total of 1 white in color plastic bag, which contained correspondence for 358 Brillo. All documents of evidentiary value were removed and turned over to Detective Redacted for follow-up. On or about Monday, October 3rd, 2005, at approximately 09:15 hours, I responded to 358 Brillo and met with PB Redacted. I observed Redacted into the driveway of 358 Brillo and removed several plastic bags of trash and placed the contents into the back of an empty sanitation truck. I then followed Redacted to a predetermined location and seized the trash from the truck. The trash was transported to the Palm Beach Police Department, where I began sifting for its contents. There was a total of 7 white in color plastic bags with a red tie and 1 black in color bag which contained 2 white in color plastic bags with a red tie. Each of the bags contained documentation and correspondence for 358 Brillo and Jeffrey Epstein. Inside of one of the white in color bags, I located a broken piece of a hard plastic or clear acrylic stick, which was shaped with small ridges. This device is commonly used as a sexual toy, which is inserted into the vagina or anus for stimulation. This item, along with all documents of evidentiary value, were removed and turned over to Detective Redacted for follow-up. On or about Thursday, October 4th, 2005, at approximately 09:28 hours, I responded to 358 Brillo and met with PB Redacted. I observed Redacted enter the driveway of 358 Brillo and remove several plastic bags of trash and place the contents into the side well of the sanitation truck. This side of the truck is separate from the rear of the truck and does not come into contact with other trash. I then followed Redacted to a predetermined location and seized the trash from the truck. The trash was transported to the Palm Beach Police Department, where I began sifting for its contents. There was a total of 2 white in color plastic bags, which were tied at the top. Each of the bags contained documentation and correspondence for 358 Brillo and Jeffrey Epstein. All documents of evidentiary value were removed and turned over to Detective Redacted for follow-up. On or about Wednesday, October 5th, 2005, at approximately 09:28 hours, I responded to 358 Brillo and met with PB Redacted. I observed Redacted into the driveway of 358 Brillo and removed several plastic bags of trash and placed the contents into the bed of the sanitation truck. I then followed Redacted to a predetermined location and seized the trash from the truck. The trash was transported to the Palm Beach Police Department, where I began sifting for its contents with the assistance of Detective Redacted. There were a total of 2 bags, one of which was white in color and tied in a knot at the top, and the other was a black in color bag, which contained 2 white in color trash bags along with loose debris. Each of the bags contained documentation and correspondence for 358 Old Brillo and Jeffrey Epstein. All documents of evidentiary value were removed and turned over to Detective Redacted for follow-up. Narrative number 7. Reported by Redacted 10th0705. Entered by Redacted 10th0705. I met with Detective Redacted and requested further assistance to maintain trash collections at Epstein's residence at 358 Old Brillo Road. On October 3rd, 2005, at approximately 10:30 a.m., I was contacted by Sergeant Redacted to respond to the Palm Beach police station. Detective Redacted had observed Jeffrey Epstein riding his bicycle on South County Road. My apologies. Upon my arrival, I met with Sergeant Redacted, who advised, as Epstein was currently in town, we interview Redacted as to her involvement with Epstein and the girls that are brought to his house. As we were to interview Redacted in the county, outside of our jurisdiction, I contacted the State Attorney's Office Investigation Division and made contact with Assistant Supervisor Investigator Redacted. I requested assistance to interview Redacted as the interview may occur in the county. Supervisor Redacted assigned Investigator Redacted to assist us at the location and interview of Redacted. Detective Redacted had responded to the address of Redacted and viewed her vehicle parked in the driveway. Redacted's vehicle, a Redacted Florida tag of Redacted, was parked in the driveway of Redacted in Loxahatchee. Sergeant Redacted and I responded to Redacted and awaited the arrival of Investigator Redacted. Upon his arrival, he was briefed that should she wish to be interviewed within her home, he would be needed. However, should Redacted agree to return to the police station for further questioning, he would not be needed. Sergeant Redacted and I knocked on the door and met with Redacted. Redacted was told that we were investigating a claim involving Jeffrey Epstein of El Brillo in Palm Beach. Redacted was asked if she wanted to accompany us back to the police station for further questioning. She was also told that at the conclusion of the interview, she would be returned home. She agreed and wished to change her clothes prior to accompanying us back to the police station. At the conclusion of her changing clothes, she advised she was ready to go. I thanked Investigator Redacted and advised she was going to voluntarily return to the police station. Upon Redacted entry in the unmarked detective vehicle, I placed a tape recorder within the vehicle to record any conversations within the vehicle. During the ride back to the police station, Redacted advised she is attending Redacted at the Redacted and is majoring in Redacted. Upon our arrival at the police station, Redacted was brought to the interview room in the Detective Bureau. I explained to Redacted that I appreciated her willingness to assist us, and informed her that should she desire to leave at any time, she may do so. I further explained the interview room door is only closed for privacy. Redacted stated she understood. During the taped, sworn interview, Redacted was asked how she came in contact with Epstein. Redacted stated back when she turned 17 years of age, she was approached by a friend, Redacted, in the Redacted in Riviera Beach. Redacted was asked if she wanted to make money. She was told she would have to provide a massage and should make $200. Redacted thought about the offer and agreed to meet with Jeffrey. Redacted, unknown last name, and Redacted, unknown last name, picked her up and she was taken to Epstein's house. Upon her arrival at the house, she was introduced to Epstein in the kitchen of the house. She was also introduced to a white female known to her as Redacted. She was led upstairs to the main bedroom, known to her as Jeff Epstein's bedroom. Redacted arranged the massage table and covered the table with a sheet. She brought out the massage oars and laid them next to the massage bed. Redacted then left the room and informed her Jeff would be in a minute. Jeff entered the bedroom wearing only a towel. He lay on the table onto his stomach and picked massage oil for Redacted to rub on him. During the massage, Redacted stated, "He tried to touch me and I stopped him." I asked how he tried to touch her. He redacted, and she felt uncomfortable. Redacted also stated Epstein has a vibrator, which is large and white in color. Redacted told Epstein, "I'll massage you, but I don't want to be touched." Redacted stated she redacted. At the conclusion of the massage, Epstein paid Redacted $200 for the massage. He explained, "I know you're not comfortable, but I'll pay you if you bring some girls." He told her, "The younger the better." Redacted stated she once tried to bring a 23-year-old female, and Epstein stated that the female was too old. Redacted was asked how many girls she brought in total to Epstein. Redacted stated 6 that she can remember. Redacted stated she brought redacted, 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 and the victim in this case. I asked Redacted which one was the youngest. Redacted advised the victim was the youngest. Redacted stated every girl she brought knew what to expect when they arrived. They were told they would provide a massage, possibly naked, and some touching. I asked her if the victim was aware. She stated every girl she brought knew what to expect. She explained she knew the victim wanted to make money. She approached the victim and explained about going to work for Jeff. The victim agreed, and arrangements were made to bring the victim to Epstein's house on a weekend. Redacted stated that she and Redacted, later identified as Redacted, picked up the victim at the victim's house. They traveled to Epstein's house and entered through the kitchen door. They met with the house chef and Epstein's assistant, Redacted. The victim was introduced to Epstein while they were in the kitchen area. Redacted led the victim upstairs and Epstein went upstairs. When the massage was over, the victim returned to the kitchen area. Redacted stated she was paid $200 for bringing the victim to Epstein's. Redacted stated the victim told her she was paid $300 for the massage. Back in the vehicle, Redacted asked the victim what happened. The victim told her about the massage, and then they went shopping. Redacted stated the victim was the last person she brought to Epstein. She further stated that she had changed her cellular number to avoid being contacted by Redacted. She continued that when Epstein announces to his assistant that he is traveling to Palm Beach, Redacted would contact Redacted to arrange girls for Epstein. Redacted, later identified as Redacted, date of birth Redacted, had told Redacted that Jeff likes to have his fun with the girls. Redacted stated that once her parents discovered that she was visiting Epstein, they disapproved of the encounters with him and she stopped. Redacted further stated that Redacted still tries to call the house and leave messages. With the assistance of Redacted, we were able to identify Redacted, DOB Redacted, Redacted, DOB Redacted, Redacted, DOB Redacted, and Redacted, DOB Redacted. Sergeant Redacted entered the room and explained that, based on her own statements, she had implicated herself with bringing underage girls to Epstein's house. Redacted was aware of what she had stated and wished to assist further in hopes to receive a lesser charge. Redacted provided cellular telephone numbers for the girls she had mentioned previously. Additionally, she also provided possible addresses and areas in which they lived. As Redacted was being taken home in the vehicle, a tape recorder was placed within the vehicle to record any conversations within the vehicle. During the drive back to our home, Redacted made the comment, "I'm like a Redacted Hollywood madame who sent girls to clients for sexual favors in California." Redacted was dropped off at her house without incident. Sergeant Redacted and I went to Redacted in Loxahatchee, Florida, in an attempt to speak with Redacted. We met with Mrs. Redacted's mother, at the front door. We explained the ongoing investigation and felt that Redacted may have additional information, as we had information that she had worked for Jeff. Mrs. Redacted introduced us to her husband and allowed us entry into the home. We sat in the dining room and met with Redacted, date of birth Redacted. As she was under the age of 18, Mrs. Redacted was advised we would be speaking with her. She expressed if her daughter had information she wanted to assist. As we interviewed Redacted, she denied having any inappropriate encounters with Jeff Epstein. She stated she had gone to Jeff's house with Redacted approximately 8 months ago and sat in the kitchen with the house chef, but nothing happened. As the parents were present during the interview, we felt that Redacted was withholding information from us. She made several comments as to she has put the entire incident behind her. I left my direct telephone number and advised, should she wish to speak with me again, to telephone me. Sergeant Redacted and I thanked Mrs. Redacted for her time and left the area. She stated she would ask her again after we left as to what happened at Epstein's house. I informed her that Redacted had my telephone number and hopefully she would call. Oh dear, sorry about that. Sergeant Redacted and I then attempted contact with Redacted in Loxahatchee. We met with Redacted who stated Redacted was her daughter. Redacted was at the Wellington Mall and was not home. We explained the ongoing investigation and felt the Redacted may have additional information, as we had information that she had worked for Jeff. We left our phone numbers and asked her to telephone me upon her daughter's return. We then left the area. On October 4th, 2005, at approximately 8:05 a.m., Sergeant Redacted had retrieved a voicemail message from Redacted. She stated she had spoken with her daughter, and she had information as to what occurred at Jeff's house. I contacted Redacted, who stated her daughter was in the shower at the moment and would be travelling back to Redacted to attend college. I informed her I would be en route to our home in Loxahatchee. What? Why is that? Oh, that's such a weird... I mean, I guess it's probably from the Native American pronunciation, but god damn, it's a tongue twister. Detective Redacted and I drove to the Redacted home and met with Redacted and Redacted. During a sworn taped statement, Redacted stated she was taken to the house by Redacted. She was told she could make money working for Jeff. She was told she would have to provide a massage to Jeff. Redacted stated upon her arrival to the house, she was brought to the kitchen area by Redacted. They met with the house chef, and Redacted stayed in the kitchen. She was introduced to Redacted, Jeff's assistant, and was brought upstairs to the master bedroom. Or mater bedroom. I'm assuming that means master bedroom. Redacted prepared the room and massage table for a massage. Epstein entered the room, and she provided a massage. Redacted stated she kept her clothes on during the massage. She stated sometime during the massage, Epstein Redacted and Redacted. Redacted said she was weirded out by the incident involving Jeff. At the conclusion of the massage, she was paid $200 for the massage. I asked Redacted if she has any formal training in massages, to which she replied no. I asked her if Redacted received any monies for taking her to perform the massage. Redacted stated Redacted also received money for taking her there. Redacted stated she went with Redacted and another girl, Redacted, to Jeff's house once. Redacted stated she waited in the kitchen with Redacted, while Redacted was taken upstairs by Redacted. Redacted stated she only did the massage once, as she was weirded out by the whole experience. At the conclusion of the interview, and the tape was stopped, I was informed that Redacted had attempted to reach Redacted via cell phone. A voicemail message on October 4th, 2005, at 10:59 a.m., revealed a female voice who identified herself as Redacted, who requested her to call her back, referenced the police questioning. This voicemail message was recorded onto a microcassette. Redacted provided the incoming telephone number as Redacted. Redacted stated she inadvertently told Redacted about the police investigation because Redacted had called her to tell her about how she just received a rental car from Jeff Epstein. Redacted had called her to tell her that she was given a rental car, Redacted, to utilize to visit family and visit Jeff. Redacted asked her what was going on at the house, the police would be asking questions. Redacted stated Redacted then called Jeff and Redacted and asked what was going on, referenced the ongoing police investigation. According to Redacted has since then been trying to contact her to ask about the police questions. I instructed Redacted not to contact Redacted and do not provide any more information to Redacted, as she would notify Jeff Epstein and Redacted what was transpiring. Investigation continues. Narrative 8. Reported by Redacted, 10:07:05. Entered by Redacted, 10:07:05. On March 30th, 2005, I was asked by Sergeant Redacted to begin conducting surveillance and trash pulls, reference Detective Redacted, conducting a criminal investigation involving Jeffrey Epstein. I was advised that Epstein was possibly engaging in sexual contact with young females. On March 30th, 2005, I made contact with Town of Palm Beach, Redacted, and requested trash pulls for 358 El Brillo Way to begin on March 31st, 2005. On March 31st, 2005, at 9:20 a.m., I responded to the area of 358 El Brillo Way and met with Town of Palm Beach, Redacted. I observed Redacted enter the driveway of 358 El Brillo Way, collect the trash bags from Epstein's property, and place the contents into an empty sanitation truck. I followed Redacted to a nearby area where he turned over 17 white plastic trash bags, which were collected from Epstein's property. I took the trash bags to the sanitation department, where I sifted for its contents. I collected mail correspondence from Armani Exchange addressed to Redacted. Jeffrey E. Epstein notepaper with Redacted. An important message notepaper addressed to J.E. dated 03/29/05 at 8:15 p.m. reference Redacted. U.S. Airways boarding pass copy for passenger Redacted. redacted, food service ID, redacted for redacted, redacted and Ghislaine Maxwell notepaper with names and phone numbers. Photocopies of the trash collected were attached with the supplement. Detective Redacted was advised of the contents that were collected for evidentiary value. On March 31st, 2005, Sergeant Redacted requested that I set up a surveillance vehicle on El Brillo Way and conduct video surveillance on the front exterior of Epstein's residence. At 3 p.m., I set up a surveillance vehicle equipped with a video monitoring device. The surveillance vehicle was parked on El Brillo Way, approximately 50 feet east of Epstein's driveway. The purpose of the video surveillance was to gather investigative intelligence by monitoring and recording all vehicle and pedestrian traffic entering and leaving Epstein's property. The video surveillance tapes were changed daily, with a new Maxell T160 VHS tape. Video surveillance was established for Epstein's from March 31st, 2005 through April 05, 2005. On April 05, 2005, video surveillance was concluded. I reviewed the videotapes and advised Detective Redacted the surveillance videos yielded no evidentiary value. On April 01, 2005, at 9:30 a.m., I responded to the area of 358 El Brillo Way to meet with Town of Palm Beach, redacted. While parked in the area of 358 El Brillo Way, waiting to collect Epstein's trash, I observed a white female who I recognized as redacted from her Florida driver's license photograph. I made no contact with Redacted. While parked in the area, I also observed Epstein's GMC Yukon truck leave the property as well as other vehicles arrive and park across the street from the property. The occupants of these vehicles appear to be housekeepers, maintenance men, and gardeners. At 9:38 a.m., I met with Town of Palm Beach, redacted. I observed Redacted enter the driveway of 358 El Brillo Way and collect the trash from Epstein's property. I followed Redacted to a predetermined area, at which time I collected the trash bags from the sanitation truck. I transported the trash bags to the Redacted department, where I sifted through its contents. I collected mail correspondences addressed to Jeffrey Epstein, automotive records and personal documents for Redacted and Redacted, as well as Jeffrey Epstein notepaper with the names and appointment times for Redacted and Redacted. No last names or other personal information was written on the notepaper. While sifting through Epstein's trash, I also collected a 3-inch purple finger-sized object, which had a broken end. The object appeared to be a broken piece from a sexual toy, similar to a cyclone vibrator, possibly used for rectal gratification. The sexual object was photographed for Detective Redacted, packaged in a biohazard evidence bag, possible body fluids, and secured as investigative evidence. All items collected from Epstein's trash were turned over to Detective Redacted for evidentiary purposes. Now, my apologies, everybody. I need to take a quick toilet break. Be right back. Hello. Right, I am back. Sorry about that. Let me just... Lol Kitty indeed. Hello, Clara. Here's two for you. And here's two for you. Dexter, you should come up here. Get both of you on at the same time. They do that sometimes. Oh, I am looking to get like a professional setup, overlay, you know, panels. It's definitely not very dignified. Literally just for me to get up, say, yeah, I need to take a shit and go off for 5 minutes. Then again, I'm sure I think it was Clara up there. I'm sure she gave you a very good show. She loves going up there, and I think it was a very good idea getting the cat tower up. Oh, but I tell you what, it's a bad time to have the shits. Jesus. Anyway, let's carry on. On April 5, 2005, at 9:18 a.m., I met with Town of Palm Beach, redacted. I observed redacted enter the driveway of 358 Obrello Way and collect the trash from Epstein's property. I followed redacted to a predetermined area, at which time I collected the trash bags from the sanitation truck. I transported the trash bags to the sanitation department, where I sifted through its contents. Hello, Clara, you shouldn't be on the desk. I collected mail correspondences addressed to Jeffrey Epstein, as well as note paper, important message, with names and telephone numbers. Clara, my cat is right here. She's now blocking the words. Listen, let's put that away. That's my medicine. You shouldn't be nom-nom-nomming on that. There's some loose items that you shouldn't be knocking off. There you go. There's a good girl. You can go on the window ledge. Yes, please do not batter my mic, because I don't like that when it happens. Hello. No. Okay, that works. I was going to put her on my lap. I transported the trash bags to the sanitation department, where I sifted for its contents. I collected mail correspondence addressed to Jeffrey Epstein, as well as notepaper, important message, with names and telephone numbers. The following are items collected from Epstein's trash. Redacted. Blank piece of white paper, redacted. Black paper, redacted. Black paper, redacted. David, redacted. Emerson Hotmail webpage with email address, redacted. The following items were documented for Detective Redacted. Investigation for evidentiary purposes. On April 06, 08, 11, 12, 13, 15, 2005, at approximately 9:30 a.m., I met with Town of Palm Beach Redacted. I observed the employee enter the driveway of 358 Obrello Way and collect the trash from Epstein's property. I followed the employee to a predetermined area, at which time I collected the trash bags from the sanitation truck. I transported the trash bags to the redacted department, where I sifted for its contents. All of the documents collected from Epstein's trash during my assistance were turned over to Detective Pagan for evidentiary purposes. On June 14, 2005, Detective Redacted contacted me and advised that the airplane belonging to Jeffrey Epstein of Redacted was parked at the Palm Beach International Airport. Detective Redacted requested that I begin trash pulls for the purpose of gathering evidence and intelligence. I made contact with Town of Palm Beach Redacted, and requested trash pulls for 358 Obrello Way to begin on June 15, 2005. On June 15, 2005, I met with a Redacted. I observed the employee enter the driveway of 358 Obrello Way and collect the trash from Epstein's property. I followed the employee to a predetermined area, at which time I collected the trash bags from the sanitation truck. I transported the trash bags to the sanitation department, where I sifted for its contents. The trash yielded negative results, and no evidence was collected. No further trash was collected throughout the week due to the fact that Epstein's security gates remained closed throughout the week. Therefore, the sanitation employees were unable to gain access onto the property for collection of the trash. All evidence and intelligence gathered by this officer has been turned over to the Detective Bureau, and no further action has been taken by this officer. End of supplement. Narrative number 9. Reported by Redacted. 10:07:05. Entered by Redacted. 10:10:05. On October 4th, 2005, I made telephone contact with Redacted, who had left several messages on voicemail. During the message, she advised she was not completely truthful when we met in person, but would like to speak with me to advise what had happened. She further advised she did not want to speak of this incident in front of her mother. At approximately 15:48 p.m., I made telephone contact with Redacted. During a taped recorded statement, Redacted stated the following. Approximately a year ago, when she was 16 years of age, Redacted took her to Jeff's house twice. The first time she went, Redacted drove to the house. They entered through the kitchen area, where she was introduced to Redacted and Jeff. She was taken upstairs to a bedroom by Redacted, who set the room up with a massage bed and brought out the oils to use. Jeff then entered the room wearing a towel. He lay on the table and picked out a lotion for Redacted to rub on him. At one point during the massage, he tried to Redacted, at which point she became very upset and discontinued the massage. Both Redacted and Jeffrey had a verbal disagreement, at which time she left without being paid. She met with Redacted, who was sitting in the kitchen, and told her, "Let's go." Redacted advised she received no money for that day. Redacted also said that Redacted had told her if she was uncomfortable with what was going on, to let him know and he'll stop. She knew that the more you do, the more you are paid. Several weeks later, Redacted advised she agreed to be taken a second time by Redacted. Once they arrived at the residence, Redacted sat in the kitchen, and Redacted took her upstairs to the master bedroom again. Redacted set the room up with a massage bed and brought out the oils to use. Jeff then entered the room wearing a towel. He lay on the table and picked out a lotion for Redacted to rub on him. At one point during the massage, he tried to Redacted. As Redacted was wearing tight jeans and had a tight belt on, Jeff was Redacted. Jeff then rolled onto his back during the massage. He Redacted. Redacted then became upset again and told him she didn't want to be Redacted. Redacted discontinued the massage and was paid $200. Redacted then went downstairs where Redacted was waiting for her. She told Redacted she wanted to leave. Redacted said she never returned to the house. Redacted stated she is aware that her friend, Redacted, was also at the house and had a problem with Jeff. She provided a telephone number for Redacted. The interview was concluded and the microcassettes were turned in as evidence. On October 5, 2005, I researched the incoming telephone number that had left Redacted a message. The telephone number, Redacted, was assigned to ATT Singular Cellular Service. I prepared a subpoena request and faxed the request to the State Attorney's Office. Information requested was subscriber information, as well as all incoming and outgoing calls for the months of September and October 2005. I later researched Redacted and discovered she resides in Royal Palm Beach. Detective Redacted and I drove to Royal Palm Beach and met with Redacted at her residence, Redacted, in Royal Palm Beach. Redacted agreed to speak with us in the kitchen area. During a sworn taped statement, Redacted stated the following. On or about November 2004, she was approached by Redacted and asked if she wanted to make money. She agreed and was told she would provide a massage to a wealthy man in Palm Beach. Redacted picked her up and drove her to a house in Palm Beach. She was brought into the kitchen area of the house. She further stated that Redacted went with them. They were brought into the kitchen where she was introduced to Jeff and other females. Redacted stated she was introduced to a helper of Jeff. What was that? Clara, are you trying to get into places you should not be? Because last time you did that on stream, you actually turned the stream off. And my PC. So you can't go back there. Alright, where the fuck am I? Yes, they were brought into the kitchen where she was introduced to Jeff and other females. Redacted stated she was introduced to a helper of Jeff. The female was described as white female, unknown name, with redacted hair. She stated that the assistant was familiar with Redacted. The assistant set up the massage table and put out lotions to be used. She told Redacted Jeff would be available in a minute. There you are, cat. Oh dear. Jeff entered the room wearing only a towel. Jeff lay on the massage table and picked a lotion to rub on his thighs and back. Redacted further stated that during the massage, Jeff asked her to remove her clothes. She complied and removed her pants and blouse. Redacted didn't remember if she had removed her bra, but feels that she did. Redacted was certain that she stayed in her thong underwear. Redacted, massive redaction there, was instructed to return to the ground, at which time Jeff turned to have his chest rubbed. Redacted advised it was at this time she is sure he was masturbating. Redacted did not want to look at his penis area because she was uncomfortable. Clara, Don't go back there. I'm going to have to chuck you out the room if you keep doing that. Redacted did not want to look at his penis area because she was uncomfortable. Jeff removed a large white vibrator and turned it on. Redacted stated he redacted. Redacted. Shortly thereafter, Jeff ejaculated and removed himself from the table. He walked over to where the shower was and opened the glass door. She waited as he was taking a shower in her direct view. When I asked Redacted how old she was when this occurred, she stated she had just turned 17. At the conclusion of the shower, Redacted was paid either $350 or $400. She stated she wasn't sure, but knows it was close to $400. Clara. Right, done, kick you out. Out. Out, out, out. Sorry, cat. You need to come out. Whoop. Out you go. Out you go. Sorry, Dexter, you're a good cat. Let's wait for you two to calm down a little bit, and then I will let you... I'll let you back in. Sorry. Clara keeps trying to go behind my PC, and doing that has turned it off several times. So she's out for now. You know, she's got access to the rest of the house. Her and Dexter are going to play a little bit with each other. When they tire themselves out, they can come back in here. I played with my cats a lot earlier, but yeah. Clara's very affectionate. At the conclusion of the interview, Redacted stated she never returned to provide a massage for Jeff. She advised she was ashamed and uncomfortable with the situation. Detective Redacted and I then left the area and responded to the Redacted, where Redacted and all the above-mentioned girls had attended. I met with school police officer Redacted. Explained I was looking for a previous student who attended Redacted. I inquired about Redacted. I further explained that I was working a case in which most of the girls I've interviewed are either witnesses or victims, and felt that Redacted may be one as well. Officer Redacted researched his previous student records and found Redacted. She attended the same year and graduated in the same year as the other girls. I was provided the last known address of Redacted. At approximately 2:10 p.m., Detective Redacted and I met with Redacted. Redacted at her residence, Redacted in Royal Palm Beach. As Redacted was only 17 years of age, I had notified her mother, Mrs. Redacted. Redacted that she would be interviewed reference an ongoing investigation in Palm Beach. I assured her that her daughter was not a suspect. I explained the possibility of her being either a witness or victim. Mrs. Redacted advised she wanted Redacted to cooperate and consented to the interview. During a sworn tape statement, Redacted stated the following. At the age of 16, during the month of September 2004, she was approached by Redacted for a chance to make money. Redacted was friends with the friends of Redacted and knew the same people. Redacted had been previously told by her friends what Redacted did for Jeff. Redacted called a person known to Redacted as Redacted and scheduled the appointment. Redacted picked Redacted up and drove her to Palm Beach. To Palm Beach, to a street called Boulevardy. Sorry, I lost my place there. They drove to the end of the street and entered a large driveway. They entered the kitchen area of the house and met with Jeff. Redacted was introduced to Jeff. Redacted led Redacted upstairs to the main bedroom area and set up the room, with a massage table and set up the oils. Redacted dimmed the lights and turned on soft music. Redacted exited the room and Jeff entered the room wearing only a towel. Jeff picked oils and instructed her to rub his legs, under his buttocks, back and chest area. Jeff asked her to get comfortable. Redacted advised she did not remove her clothes. She was wearing tight jeans and a cropped tank top, exposing her belly area. During the massage, Jeff removed his towel. As Redacted rubbed his chest area, Jeff redacted. However, was unable to due to the tightness of the jeans and a tight belt. Redacted advised Jeff began to masturbate as Redacted. Fucking hell. Jeff moaned as she redacted. She observed he was continuing to masturbate and attempted to redacted. Redacted pulled back and Jeff stopped. However, he kept masturbating until he climaxed. He cleaned himself with the towel he was previously wearing. I asked Redacted if she knew the difference between circumcised and not circumcised. She explained she knew and advised Jeff was circumcised. Redacted was paid $200 for the massage and left the area. She met with Redacted, who was waiting in the kitchen area, and left the house. Redacted then explained she never provided another massage for Jeff. She did, however, go to the house with Redacted and Redacted. Redacted as he took another friend of Redacted. Redacted advised she was present when Redacted went to work for Jeff. She advised she rode over and sat in the kitchen area with Redacted to wait for Redacted. Redacted advised that while they waited for Redacted, the house chef prepared lunch for them, as it was almost lunchtime. As Redacted was finished with the massage, they left the area. I asked Redacted if Redacted ever told what would be expected of her when she provided a massage. Redacted stated yes. Redacted told her that a massage would be expected, possibly naked, and possibly some touching involved. Redacted has no formal training in providing massages. Redacted spoke about a third and last time she went to Jeff's house. Redacted drove another girl, Redacted, who is Redacted's friend, to Jeff's house. Redacted stated she knew that Redacted had made money providing girls for Jeff, and she wanted to do the same. Redacted took them in the kitchen area of the house and introduced Redacted to Redacted. Redacted took Redacted upstairs to the main bedroom. Redacted advised she doesn't know what happened to Redacted, as Redacted did not speak about what happened in the room. Redacted received $100 from Redacted for going with her to Jeff's house and recommending Redacted. Redacted was unable to remember Redacted's telephone number. The interview was concluded, and we left the area. Investigation continues. My voice is cracking up a little bit, so I'll probably stop once we get to the end of these narratives, or indeed if we just carry on and I find I cannot continue due to my voice breaking. That said, hearing these narratives is exactly why I'm looking to narrate the lot. It is exactly why I'm doing this. Gotta bring this shit to the light. Whew. Narrative 10. Reported by Redacted. Entered by Redacted. 10:09:05 and 10:10:05. On October 6, 2005, Detective Redacted and I went to Redacted, located in Redacted. We met with Dean of Students, Redacted. I explained to Mr. Redacted that we were investigating a crime within the town of Palm Beach and felt that a student, Redacted, may have information. Redacted confirmed that Redacted is a student and currently on the Redacted for Redacted. She was in Redacted at the time of our arrival. Redacted sent a security guard to locate Redacted in class and bring her to the office. Mr. Redacted allowed us to interview Redacted in an empty conference room. At 11:45 a.m., I met with Redacted and explained to her why we were there to interview her. She advised she was aware of the ongoing investigation. Redacted stated she had previously spoken with Redacted, who told her she was interviewed by detectives. During a sworn taped statement, Redacted stated she knew that Redacted worked for Jeff in Palm Beach. Redacted advised she has been there many times for massages. I asked her if she had formal training in providing massages. Redacted stated she did not. Redacted advised she was told what was expected of her by providing massages and would have to remove clothing, but if she felt uncomfortable just to say so, and Jeff would stop pushing the issue. Redacted began providing massages and advised she kept her clothes on. She considered Jeff a pervert, who kept pushing to go further and further. Redacted explained she would keep telling him she had a boyfriend and that it would not be right to her boyfriend. It wasn't until recently Redacted admitted to removing her clothes and staying in her thong underwear to provide a massage. Redacted explained Jeff wanted to be rubbed on his back, and recently he began turning over to have her rub his chest as he masturbated. He would try to Redacted as she rubbed his chest. Redacted stated Jeff would try to get away with more and more on each massage. Originally, Redacted drove her to the house for the original massage. Redacted left Redacted her cell phone number, and every time Jeff would come into town, Redacted would call her for an appointment. Each time she went, Redacted would meet her at the kitchen door area. She would bring her upstairs and prepare the massage table. Redacted advised Jeff would ask her questions about herself. He knew she was a Redacted and would be attending Redacted. I asked Redacted if he knew her real age. Redacted stated Jeff didn't care. The most recent massage she provided was on October 1st, 2005. During the massage, she asked Jeff if she could borrow one of his vehicles to visit her family and boyfriend in Orlando. Jeff had told her she could borrow one of his vehicles, but later stated he would rent her a car. She continued with the massage as Jeff Redacted. I asked Redacted if she was wearing undergarments, to which she replied her thong underwear. Once he tried to Redacted. She would pull away from him, and he would stop. Redacted was asked if he ever used a vibrator on her. Redacted was aware of the vibrator, but advised she never would allow him to use the vibrator on her. She described the vibrator as a large white vibrator with a huge head on the tip of the vibrator. She stated he kept the vibrator in a closet near the massage table. Redacted advised she had been doing the massage for approximately 2 years, which meant she would have started doing massages for Jeff at the age of 16. Redacted stated she was contacted by Redacted on October 3rd, 2005. Redacted had informed her that Jeff had rented her a new Redacted and she should come by the house to pick it up. Redacted informed Redacted she would have the car for a month. Redacted stated Jeff knew her car was not working properly and had missed appointments in the past because of her car being inoperable. Redacted explained the car is currently parked next to the Redacted field. I asked her if she ever took anyone to the house. Redacted explained she took Redacted, a friend of hers who has returned to Redacted to attend college. I asked she ever allowed another female in the room. Redacted advised no one was brought into the room with her. At the conclusion of the interview, Detective Redacted and I went to the gym area and located the Redacted, bearing Florida tag Redacted. The vehicle is registered to Redacted out of the Palm Beach International Airport. Telephone contact was made with Redacted to the victim's mother at Redacted. I explained to her that I was following up on this case and provided a complete update on the case. Narrative 11. Reported by Redacted, 10th, 21st, 05. Entered by Redacted. 10/21/05. On October 10th, 2005, at approximately 2:30 p.m., I made telephone contact with Redacted. During a taped conversation, Redacted was told of an ongoing investigation in which I felt she had information pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein. Redacted explained she met Epstein when she was just 16 years of age. She was approached by Redacted, a friend who also had previously gone to Epstein's house for massages. Redacted advised she was working at the Redacted when she was approached. Redacted told her that she would have to provide a massage to Epstein, and she would have to perform this massage. Redacted thought about the offer and stated she could make $200 for only 30 minutes of work. She agreed to perform the massage, and Redacted set the appointment for her that same day. Redacted remembered it was a weekend, and as she only worked Redacted on the weekends. Redacted took her to the house, where she was introduced to Redacted, Jeff Epstein's assistant. Redacted took her upstairs to her master bedroom. Redacted explained that as she was walking up the stairs, she observed several photographs of naked women along the walls and tables of the house. We've seen that before. Redacted further explained that she was brought into the bedroom, where Redacted prepared the room by setting up the massage table and provided the oils for her to rub on Epstein. Epstein entered the room and introduced himself. Epstein lay on the table and told her to get comfortable. Redacted could not remember if he was naked or if he entered the room with a towel. Redacted stated she provided Redacted. She continued rubbing his legs, thighs, and feet. Redacted advised he turned over onto his back. She continued to rub his legs with the oils. Epstein Redacted. I asked Redacted if she knew what circumcised and uncircumcised meant. Redacted stated circumcised is when the penis has no foreskin and the head of the penis is visible. Redacted stated Epstein is circumcised. Redacted began to cry on the telephone and stated she had been to his house hundreds of times over a 2-year period. She claimed to have made thousands of dollars during her visits. Redacted stated she could not remember how many times exactly she went to Epstein's home, but said it was a lot. Redacted became more upset, crying hysterically, and stated she was paid and instructed to Redacted by Epstein. Epstein continued to Redacted. She further stated that things escalated further and further. Epstein Redacted. Additionally, Redacted. She claimed he, Epstein, Redacted. Redacted could not continue and wanted some time to regain her composure. I explained to Redacted to take her time. After taking several minutes to regain her composure, I explained that I would travel to meet with her in person, as I felt she had additional information to provide. I met with Sergeant Redacted and explained the importance to meet with Redacted in person. Sergeant Redacted agreed and made arrangements for Detective Redacted and I to meet with Redacted in Jacksonville, Florida. On October 11th, 2005, at 4:10 p.m., Detective Redacted and I met with Redacted and her friend, Redacted, at Redacted in Jacksonville, Florida. Redacted wanted to have Redacted present for support. I explained to her that I did not have a problem as long as she wanted Redacted present during the interview. Redacted stated she wanted her present. I explained that as Redacted was present, she was not allowed to comment or ask any questions during the interview. She was only there to comfort Redacted should the interview upset her. During the sworn tape statement, Redacted explained how everything began. She said she was brought through the kitchen area where she met Redacted for the first time. She was led to the master bedroom, Epstein's room. Redacted explained that as she was walking up the stairs, she observed several photographs of naked women along the walls and tables of the house. Redacted further explained that she was brought into the bedroom, where Redacted prepared the room by setting up the massage table and provided the oils for her to rub on Epstein. Redacted explained she remembered the steam room area, which contained 2 large showers. Epstein entered the room from the steam room area and introduced himself. Epstein lay on the table and told her to get comfortable. Hall removed her skirt and kept her shirt on. She could not remember if he was naked or if he entered the room with a towel. Epstein then instructed her to remove her shirt. Redacted. She continued rubbing his legs, thighs, and feet. Redacted advised he turned over onto his back. She continued to rub his legs with the oils. Epstein redacted. Epstein ejaculated, which meant the massage was over. At the conclusion of the massage, Redacted was paid $200. They walked together downstairs, where Redacted and Redacted were waiting. Redacted stated Redacted received an unknown amount of money for taking her to Epstein. Epstein instructed to leave her cellular telephone number so that he could contact her when he was in town. Redacted explained that she continued to go to Epstein's house and became a regular at the house. She could not provide an exact number, but claimed she had been there hundreds of times. She claimed sexual activities did not occur every time she was there. There were times she went to dinners and parties with Epstein. Redacted explained that things began to escalate more than the massage. The encounters included bringing in his assistant, Redacted explained Epstein had purchased her from her family in Redacted. Epstein bragged he brought her into the United States to be his Redacted sex slave. Redacted advised he was naked in the bedroom. She entered and removed her clothing. Redacted entered the room from the steam room area already naked. He instructed Redacted to Redacted on Redacted. Redacted refused to perform that act. Epstein offered her an additional $200 for her to Redacted for 5 minutes. Redacted agreed to Redacted for the additional $200. Redacted explained that Epstein was Redacted. Things continued to escalate by purchasing sex toys. Redacted stated she had Redacted. Each time something new was introduced, additional monies were produced and offered for Redacted to allow the acts to happen. Redacted was adamant that she performs all these acts, but there was an understanding with Epstein that no vaginal penetration would occur with his penis. Redacted explained that Epstein's penis was deformed. Redacted explained that his penis was oval-shaped. She claimed when Epstein's penis was erect, it was thick toward the bottom, but was thin and small toward the head portion. She called it egg-shaped. Redacted continued that the Redacted encounters with Redacted Epstein and her became a ritual. Redacted would arrive at the house and walk herself upstairs, where Redacted and Epstein were waiting. Redacted would Redacted and join them. Redacted explained. Redacted, Epstein, or Redacted, Epstein, Redacted, massive redactions. Redacted explanation revealed they were in a Redacted. Redacted advised one day. Redacted was unable to state an exact date when this incident occurred. She came to the house after Redacted had informed her that Epstein had arrived. She arrived at the house and went upstairs to the master bedroom. Redacted advised she immediately redacted her clothing, as Redacted and Epstein were already naked in the bedroom. Redacted explained that Redacted and she had a Redacted encounter to include Redacted. Redacted remembered that Redacted and was removing herself from the massage table. Redacted asked for a sheet of paper and drew the massage table in the master bedroom and where Epstein, Redacted, and she were. Epstein turned Redacted. Redacted stated Epstein began to Redacted. Redacted became upset over this. She said Redacted as he Redacted. She screamed no and Epstein stopped. She told him that she did not want to Redacted. Epstein apologized for his actions and subsequently paid her $1,000 for that visit. Additionally, shortly thereafter, Epstein gave Redacted a Redacted in color for her personal use. Redacted advised there were times that she was so sore when she left Epstein's house. Redacted advised she was redacted. Redacted advised she had difficulty walking to the car after leaving the house because she was so sore. Redacted advised that other than that one time when Epstein redacted, there was no other redacted. Redacted provided names of girls that she knew of that had gone to Epstein's house. Redacted provided the name of Redacted and feels she still may be going to the house to massage Epstein. According to Redacted is still redacted. When asked if she had been recently contacted by anyone of the house, Redacted advised she received an email from Redacted, which is her email account. The email was just a hello, how are you doing type of email. There had been no other contact from the house. The interview was concluded and Redacted left the area. The tapes and drone were submitted into evidence. Investigation continues. Narrative 12, reported by Ricari, Redacted, 11:01:05, entered by Redacted, 11:07:05. On October 12, 2005, Detective Redacted and I travelled to the Orlando area and made telephone contact with Redacted. Redacted agreed to meet with us as we were in the Orlando area. Redacted provided directions to her apartment. Detective Redacted and I met with Redacted, who stated during the sworn tape statement that nothing happened between her and Epstein. Redacted appeared nervous during the interview. I assured her that I had spoken with other people who advised differently. Redacted stated she only went a couple of times and provided a massage to Epstein. She stated she was brought to the Epstein house in March of 2005. Redacted brought her to work. Redacted has no formal training in providing massages. Redacted stated she provided a massage, fully clothed, for $200. As I sensed hesitancy in her answers, I asked Redacted if she had been contacted by anyone from the house. Redacted stated she was interviewed already by an investigator for Epstein. He met with her on October 8, 2005 at a roadhouse in Orlando. He identified himself as Redacted and inquired about the police investigation and left his telephone number, Redacted, for additional contact. Redacted provided no additional information, as it appeared her responses were almost scripted. We left the area and returned to Palm Beach Police Department. Based on the information acquired during the interviews, a search warrant was prepared for entry at the Epstein home. On October 18, 2005, I met with Judge Redacted, who reviewed the warrant request. She found there was sufficient probable cause and signed the warrant request. On October 20, 2005, at approximately 9:36 a.m., members of the Palm Beach Police Investigations Unit executed the search warrant at 358 Old Brillo in Palm Beach. Members of the Investigations Unit included Captain Redacted, Sergeant Redacted, Detective Redacted, Detective Redacted, Detective Redacted, Detective Redacted, Detective Redacted, the Crime Scene Unit, and myself. As we entered onto the property, we encountered the house manager, Redacted, who was in the guest portion of the house. The guest house section had open doors and no forced entry was made. I made contact with Redacted, date of birth Redacted, F1DL Redacted, and informed him of the search warrant for the premises. The members of the police department entered the residence and announced we had a search warrant. A safety search was done and members exited the home. I'll redo that line. A safety search was done and members exited the home. I read the search warrant to Redacted as MGR, manager maybe? Redacted videotaped the search warrant execution. Several interior decorators were located on the property. I spoke with Redacted of Redacted in New York. Mr. Redacted stated he is the designer for Mr. Epstein's homes. He advised he was contacted in March of 2005 to do a complete overhaul on the house. He advised he was on the phone with Mr. Epstein when officers announced the search warrant. Mr. Epstein was then made aware of the search warrant. Mr. Redacted advised his contact with Epstein is strictly business, and he has never witnessed Epstein with any girls except for his assistants, Redacted or Redacted. I then interviewed Redacted of Redacted in New York. Mr. Redacted stated he has worked for Redacted for 7 years. He advised he personally worked on the New York and Palm Beach home for Mr. Epstein. He has previously met with Redacted, Epstein's assistants in New York and in Florida. Ests say they travel with Epstein everywhere he goes. Estimates. I interviewed Redacted, Jersey City, New Jersey. Redacted stated she had just arrived from Scotland and has worked with Redacted for only 1 month. She stated she has never met Epstein and has not seen him. The interview was then concluded. I then spoke with Redacted in New York City. Redacted stated he has been Epstein's Redacted for 7 years. He further stated he deals with Epstein's assistants and speaks with Epstein on the phone. Redacted stated he mainly speaks with Redacted, Epstein's main assistant, who travels with Epstein. Redacted stated he only has contact with Epstein when his services are needed. At approximately 10:30 a.m., I was informed that the videotaping was concluded. I entered the residence and located 2 covert, hidden cameras. The first camera was a covert wall clock in the garage area. I traced the wires behind the clock and removed the RCA wire and unplugged the camera. The other covert camera was located within a desk clock beside Epstein's desk. I traced the wire behind the clock and unplugged the RCA wire. I could not locate another camera. I then began with a search of the residence for... Oh god, my throat is drying up. Excuse me. Oh, really sorry about that. I've been going straight for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and while I have done longer before, my health hasn't been the best as of late. Sorry about that. I then began with a search of the residence for the specified evidence. My search consisted of the second floor. Detective Redacted and I began in the master bedroom area where several items were located. They were marked to be retrieved by the evidence custodian. In the master desk with Epstein's notepads marked Jeffrey Epstein, we located a high school transcript from Redacted for Redacted. Also in the room was the dresser/armoire, where we located a bottle of peach-flavored Joy Jelly, sexual lubricant. Additionally, there were several photographs of young naked teenage girls within the closet, which were consistent with what the witnesses said. The massage table was also located within the master bedroom. Videotapes were located beside the television, which were also collected. An itemized list of the property and locations was prepared on the property receipts. At approximately 2:55 p.m., the house was secured. The exit of the residence was videotaped. Upon our exit of the property, I encountered attorney Guy Fronstein, who advised he was representing Mr. Epstein, who provided a business card and provided his assistance with the investigation. Due to Hurricane Wilma, which struck South Florida, causing massive power outages, the courthouse was closed due to the lack of power. I was previously told that the chief judge had extended the filing deadlines due to the hurricane, and the courthouse being closed. On October 27th and 28th, 2005, the courthouse was closed and I could not file the search warrant and inventory at the clerk's office. On October 31st, 2005, I responded to the courthouse and filed the paperwork along with an order to seal, signed by Judge Johnson, to deny any release of any paperwork on this case. Investigation continues. Narrative number 13. Reported by Redacted, 10th 2005. Entered by Redacted, 11:07:05. On October 20th, 2005, at approximately 8:30 a.m. Thursday morning, I was advised by Captain Redacted that a search warrant would be executed and that I was to assemble the crime scene investigative team and stand by the south side of the building ready to go. I designated evidence specialist Redacted to handle the inventory return, the documentation of the property receipts, and the collection and bagging of the evidence at the scene. I further instructed CSI Redacted, ID number Redacted, to accompany us and perform the role of photographing the scene and the items that may be taken into custody by the affiant, Detective Redacted, ID number Redacted. My responsibility was to go through from the reading of the warrant to the final exit from the residence and perform a video recording of the reading of the warrant. The initial walkthrough of the residence showing the current condition, and then finally a walkthrough of the residence at the time of the police exit. We started out towards the residence, which was located at 358 El Brillo, and arrived at approximately 9:33 a.m. The search was conducted, items were collected by evidence specialists Redacted. photographed by CSI Redacted, and then videotaped by myself. The search was concluded at approximately 3:05 p.m., whereupon Detective Redacted and I were the last two officers in the house. Upon securing the residence, we met with the gentleman who identified himself to Detective Redacted as the lawyer for the defendant, and he was informed that the residence was secured and that copies of the inventory return had been left on the first floor table of the personal assistant's office. Detective Redacted and I returned to police headquarters and secured for the day. Narrative number 14. Reported by Redacted 110705. Entered by Redacted 110705. Maximum hydration. Look at the size of this thing. And I've got this is my normal water bottle. This is it by comparison. Yes, hydration, absolutely. I do try and stay hydrated as much as I can. However, I'm also swapping over to the keto diet, so there's a little bit of side effects from that. Plus, of course, unfortunately, my general health has not been where I want it. Let's put it that way. Oh, goddamn. Where are we? Oh, 2 hours, 20 minutes. That's been pretty good. Good progress. Narrative number 14, reported by Redacted 110705, entered by Redacted 110705. On October 20th, 2005, I assisted Detective Redacted in the execution of a search warrant at 358 Obrello Way, Palm Beach, Florida, 33480. Upon the announcement of the search warrant, immediate contact was made with 3 white males who came out of the house or surrounding structures. Those males were identified as Redacted, and Redacted. As other members of the police department cleared the home, I kept watch over these 3 males. Once the house was cleared, those males were turned over to Detective Redacted. Detective Redacted and I were assigned to assist in the search of the main house, the cabana, and the servants' quarters. We started in the garage. All areas of the garage were searched to include 4 vehicles. These vehicles were 3 black Mercedes-Benz cars registered to Jeffrey Epstein. The 4th vehicle was a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, green in color, registered to Jeffrey Epstein. Nothing was recovered from the garage. A towel closet and pantry located off the kitchen was searched and yielded negative results. The kitchen was searched and taken into evidence was a phone message book that was located near a house phone. North of the kitchen was an office room, which contained a computer. The room had a closet that contained a locked gun locker. The combination was entered by Redacted in the presence of Sergeant Redacted, and the safe was opened. Items were taken from the room. See the completed property receipt for a detailed list. A green bathroom located on the first floor was searched, and nothing was taken. A closet located just west of the green bathroom was searched. 2 massage tables were located in the closet, along with a photo of a nude female from the waist up. See the property receipt for details. I searched 2 bedrooms and their adjoining bathrooms, which were located on the 2nd floor of the east side of the house. In the northeast bedroom closet, I found adult sex toys called twin torpedoes. Soap made in the shape of a penis and vagina were also found in these upstairs bedrooms. See the property receipt for details. I searched the pool cabana located on the south side of the pool. Photos were taken from the wall. See the property receipt for details. I assisted in the search of Redacted living quarters. Numerous CDs along with a message book were seized. See the property receipt for details. Narrative number 15, reported by Redacted 110805. Entered by Redacted 110805. On November 1st, 2005, I was contacted by Attorney Gus Fronstin, who advised he was willing to assist with the investigation. Attorney Fronstin advised he would try to have his client, Jeffrey Epstein, available to be interviewed. I explained I would be interested in conducting an interview with his client, as well as other employees that are employed within the house. Attorney Fronstin advised he would return my call once he received confirmation on the interviews. On November 6, 2005, I attempted contact with Redacted at her residence. I left a business card for her to return my call. Upon returning to the police department, I received a telephone call from Redacted.
I returned her call at Redacted and spoke with Redacted. She made arrangements to respond to the station to provide an interview. At approximately 3:30 p.m., she arrived at the Palm Beach Police Station, with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was allowed to sit in the lobby area while Miss Redacted was interviewed. I took Miss Redacted to the Detective Bureau investigation room. I closed the door for privacy and explained to her that I appreciated her coming to the police station for the interview. During the sworn tape statement, she advised she was at Jeffrey Epstein's house one time. Approximately 2 months ago, she was approached by a girl, Redacted, who was dating her roommate to make some quick money. Redacted advised she was in need to make some quick cash to make the rent that month. She agreed to go to the house. She had been told by Redacted that the massage would have to be done in her underwear. She advised Redacted drove with her and brought her into the house. They walked into the kitchen area and took the stairs upstairs. Redacted further stated she was brought into a master bedroom area. She advised she recalls seeing portraits of naked women throughout the room. A massage table was already out near the sauna/shower area in the master bedroom. Epstein entered the room wearing only a towel and introduced himself as Jeff. Redacted advised she recalls she and Redacted removed their clothing down to their panties. Epstein lay on his stomach area and they provided a massage on his legs and feet area. I asked Redacted if she had any formal massage training, and she replied no. Redacted advised she was topless and the panties she wore were the boy shorts lace panties. She and Redacted continued the massage until the last 10 minutes of the massage. Epstein told Redacted to leave the room so that Redacted could finish the massage. Redacted got dressed and Epstein turned over onto his back. Epstein then removed the towel, which had been around his waist. Epstein laid there naked and requested that Redacted rub his chest area. Redacted stated, as she did this, Epstein began, "Redacted," as she rubbed his chest. Redacted stated he redacted, and he produced a large white vibrator with a large head. She stated it was within a drawer in his master bedroom. Redacted. Redacted advised he never redacted with the vibrator. He continued to redacted. Redacted stated she was very uncomfortable during the incident, but knew it was almost over. Epstein climaxed and started to remove himself from the table. He wiped himself with the towel he had on previously and went into the shower area. Thomas got dressed and met with Redacted in the kitchen area. That might be the victim name, unfortunately. Don't be a dick about that. Oh, Flint's here. Hello, Britboy. Hello, Flint. How are you? Oh, I think after this, I still need to watch your, God, what do you call it? The gang chase. Yes. I'll watch that afterwards. Oh, God. I've got so many things on my to-do list today, and my throat is going. Jesus. So I think what I'm also going to do is I am going to clip all of this kind of stuff, but these little breaks I'm going to cut off. I'm just going to have all of these narratives. Just stick it all up as one thing, because this is big. Fuck. Chase of the Deaf just recorded episode 4. Ooh. Episode 4 already, Jesus. Yeah, I still need to watch number 3. So I'll let you know what I think when I actually get there. I really should have done it much earlier, so sorry about that. Where was I? Almost over. Okay. And went to the shower area. Okay. Thomas got dressed and met with Redacted in the kitchen area. Epstein came into the kitchen and provided Redacted $200 for bringing Redacted and paid $200 to Redacted for providing the massage. Redacted was told to leave her telephone number with Redacted, his assistant, for future contact. Redacted provided her cellular telephone number for future contact. Redacted was asked if she was recently contacted about this investigation by anyone from the Epstein organization. She replied she was called, but it was for work. She stated she was called by Redacted for her to return to work for Epstein. Redacted stated work is the term used by Redacted to provide the massage in underwear. Redacted advised she declined as she was not comfortable in providing that type of work. The interview was concluded, and the videotape was placed into evidence. Investigation continues. Narrative number 16, reported by redacted 111005, entered by redacted 111005. On November 7, 2005, I made telephone contact with redacted, who advised she would be able to meet with me at her home. Detective Redacted and I traveled to her home in Royal Palm Beach and made contact with Redacted. During a sworn tape statement, Redacted stated she met Jeffrey Epstein through Redacted. Redacted would approach females who wished to work for him. Redacted stated she was asked to work for him but declined. Redacted explained that work means giving massages. She was asked about any formal training in providing massages, to which she said no. Redacted said she accompanied Redacted and other females who were taken to Epstein's house to provide massages. Redacted further stated she had been to the house approximately 4 or 5 times in the past year. She accompanied Redacted with Redacted, and Redacted. Each time the girls were taken over, they were previously told they would have to provide a massage, possibly naked. It was also told that should Epstein require them to do anything extra, and they were not comfortable, just to tell him and he would stop. Redacted stated Redacted received $200 for each girl she brought over to massage Jeffrey Epstein. When I asked which girl appeared to be the youngest, she replied, the victim, as she stated she was 15 years old at the most. She looked really young. Redacted further stated each time she went to the house, she sat in the kitchen and waited with Redacted until the massage was over. She further stated that the cook would make lunch or a snack for them as they waited. I asked her if there was anything that caught her attention within the home. Redacted stated there were a lot of naked girls in photographs throughout the house. The interview was concluded and the tape was turned into evidence. Investigation continues. Narrative number 17, reported by Redacted, 111005, entered by Redacted, 111005. Detective Redacted and I attempted contact with Redacted in Royal Palm Beach. I left my business card at her front door. Miss Redacted returned my call and arranged a meeting with me at the Palm Beach Police Department for November 8th, 2005. At approximately 2 p.m., Redacted arrived at the Palm Beach Police Department. She was brought into the interview room and the door was closed for privacy. She was told that I appreciated her coming to the police station for questioning regarding an ongoing investigation. She was told that I was investigating a crime involving Jeffrey Epstein and knew, based on the investigation, that she had encounters with him in the past. During a sworn tape statement, Redacted stated she had met Epstein approximately 2 years ago. She was first introduced to Epstein by Redacted. Redacted approached her about working for Epstein and providing a massage to him for $200. The arrangements were made, and as Redacted could not take her the day the arrangements were made, Redacted took Redacted. Redacted also attended Redacted, and was familiar with Epstein. Redacted recalled she was brought there and entered through the back kitchen door. She had met with an assistant, Redacted, and another assistant, Redacted. Redacted brought her upstairs as she observed several photographs of naked females throughout the house. Redacted stated Epstein came in the room, wearing only a towel, and laid on the table. Redacted stated he picked out the oils he wanted her to use, and requested she remove her clothing to provide the massage. Redacted stated that on the first massage she provided, she did not remove her clothing. Redacted stated she had returned several times after that. Each time she returned, more things happened. Velasco stated that the same thing would happen. Epstein would walk into the master bedroom/bathroom area wearing only a towel. He would masturbate as she provided a massage. Redacted stated she was unsure if he climaxed as he masturbated under the towel. Additionally, she never looked below his waist. She claimed that Epstein would convince her to remove her clothes. She eventually removed her clothes and stayed in her thong panties. On occasion, Epstein would redacted, heavy redaction there. Every time she provided a massage, he would masturbate. Redacted added she has no formal training in providing a massage. Redacted stated she brought 2 females during her visits to provide massages. Redacted stated she brought a girl named Redacted and Redacted from Redacted. Redacted stated she received $200 for each girl she brought. Additionally, she was given $200 for taking her in the very beginning. The interview was concluded and the tape was placed into evidence. Investigation continues. Narrative number 18. Reported by Redacted, 111305. Entered by Redacted, 111405. On November 8, 2005, I made telephone contact with Redacted, redacted at her residence. Redacted responded to the police station for an interview reference and ongoing investigation. At approximately 2:30 p.m., she arrived at the Palm Beach police station and was brought into the interview room for the interview. The door was closed for privacy, and she was told that I appreciated her cooperation in this case. During the sworn tape statement, Redacted stated she had met Jeffrey Epstein approximately 1 year ago. She was approached by a subject known to her as Redacted. Redacted had asked her if she wanted to make money providing massages to Epstein. Redacted had heard that several girls from Redacted were doing this and making money. She agreed and was taken to the house by Redacted. Redacted had introduced her to Redacted, and Epstein brought her upstairs to a master bedroom and master bathroom where a massage table was prepared and the proper oils were taken out. Redacted left the room and waited downstairs for Redacted. Redacted stated Epstein entered the room wearing a towel, and she provided a massage wearing only her thong panties. Redacted advised Epstein had masturbated every time she provided a massage. She stated Epstein continued to masturbate until he climaxed. Once that occurred, the massage was over. She felt the whole situation was weird, but she advised she was paid $200 for providing the massage. She also stated Redacted received $200 for bringing Redacted to Epstein. Redacted stated she had gone a total of 15 times to his residence to provide a massage, and things had escalated from just providing a massage. Epstein began redacted. Epstein also redacted as she provided the massage. Redacted stated on one occasion he offered extra monies to Redacted. She stated this all occurred on the massage table. Redacted stated Epstein massive redaction and climaxed onto the massage table. Davis received $350 for her massage. God, that should be censored. As I say, these redactions all on here. I know there's been a lot of criticism for the heavy redactions in the Epstein files. However, this is victim information, and these victims need to be protected. So I have to ask, let's not get too curious with the names shown on here, because these are all victims. Please leave them alone. This is the whole purpose of me, narrating the entire lot, is to do my part to help provide some justice for these victims, so they don't need people harassing them or doing anything like that kind of stuff. Just don't contact them at all, or don't even try. Thank you. I'm sure you guys won't. We've got a lot of adults on this channel, but let's just put that out there. Let's just lay that line. If you think you've got some information on finding a victim, do not dox them, do not contact them, just don't do that kind of stuff. No. Save that for the people that did this. I asked... Sorry, that's not me getting emotional or anything. I just need water. Fucking hell. There's potentially up to 50 more pages of this. I suspect I won't be able to do it all. Mentally, I'm awake, I'm there, I'm raring to go. I want to sort of do all of them, but if my throat dies, and I will actually do myself damage if I continue, I will have to stop. But I'm going to try and carry on for as long as I can. I asked her if she had any formal training in providing massages. Redacted stated she did not. Redacted continues to state on one other occasion Epstein introduced his assistant, Redacted, into the massage. Redacted was brought into a room with Redacted to provide a massage. Epstein had Redacted, as they provided a massage to Epstein. Epstein watched and masturbated as this occurred. On other occasions, Epstein introduced the large white vibrator/massager during the massage. Epstein redacted, she provided the massage. Redacted stated the last time she spoke with anyone at the house was with Redacted, during the weekend of October 2nd or 3rd, 2005. Redacted stated she had brought 2 people to the Epstein house. She provided the names of Redacted, and Redacted, unknown last name. It should be noted, Redacted had been previously identified as Redacted, and had been previously interviewed. The interview was concluded and the videotape was placed into evidence via the locker system.
I'll note here, a lot of these interview victims, they're introducing multiple people to Epstein. It's what I've always said, is how his web expands to the extent it does. That's how he was able to do it. And bearing in mind, this whole time period for these interviews, it's only over a few months. And this also happened over 20 years ago. This is blown up mightily. Anyway. Okay. Yes. The interview was concluded and the videotape was placed into evidence via the locker system. Okay. On November 9, 2005, Sergeant Redacted and I travelled to Redacted in Boynton Beach, Florida, in hopes to interview Redacted, the former houseman of Epstein's home. As no one was home, a business card was left for him to return my call. We then travelled to Redacted in Miami in hopes to interview Redacted, a former houseman of Epstein. We did not locate them at home. I left a business card for him to return my call. We then travelled to Redacted and met with the Dean of Students, Mr. Redacted. We were requested to speak with Redacted. Redacted was re-interviewed, and as she still was in possession of the rental car that Epstein had acquired for her. Redacted stated that Redacted's Epstein's assistant had called her on her cellular telephone and informed her the rental was extended for her. Redacted stated she had paid an additional $625 for her to keep the rental an extra month. Redacted was asked if she had any additional contact with either Epstein or anyone from his organization. Redacted stated she did not, other than the telephone call, informing her that she could keep the car for an extra month. Redacted did not provide any additional information. On October 10, 2005, at approximately 9:47 a.m., Redacted had telephoned, referenced my business card found in his door. Redacted stated he had worked with Epstein for approximately 6 months after the previous houseman left. Redacted stated it was his responsibility to keep the identity of the masseuses private. Mr. Epstein had a massage in the morning and one in the afternoon. Mr. Redacted stated he would rather speak about this in private. He advised he would come to the police station to speak with me. Redacted stated he would return my call on Monday, November 14th, 2005. I then made telephone contact with Redacted. He advised he found my card on his door and wanted to know what I needed to speak with him about. I explained to Redacted that I was conducting an investigation on his former employer, Mr. Epstein. Redacted stated he would return my call shortly, Sorry, sometimes I stutter. As I'm sure you can tell by now. As he was in the middle of a project at his home. I received a telephone call from attorney Redacted from Redacted. Mr. Redacted stated he represented Mr. Redacted and did not want me speaking with his client. I then made telephone contact with the state attorney's office and confirmed that subpoenas would be issued to the former employees to assist in the investigation. To assist in the investigation. I then made telephone contact with attorney Guy Fronstein, attorney for Mr. Epstein. I explained to Mr. Fronstein that I would like to speak with Mr. Epstein. He stated Mr. Epstein is not in residence in Florida at this time, and would check with him to ascertain if he could be here by Wednesday, November 16th, 2005 for an interview. Mr. Fronstein stated he would return my call should Mr. Epstein decide to come into the police station for an interview. Investigation continues. Narrative number 19, reported by Redacted, 11:15:05. Entered by Redacted, 11:16:05. On November 14th, 2005, Detective Redacted and I travelled to Redacted in Loxahatchee, Florida, and spoke with Redacted. She was told of the ongoing investigation involving Epstein. Redacted advised she had gone to the house on several occasions. During a sworn taped statement, she advised she started going to the house approximately 1 year ago and was brought by Redacted, unknown last name. Redacted stated Redacted brought her into the house and she was introduced to a girl named Redacted. Once she met her, Redacted brought her upstairs into a master bedroom bathroom. Redacted stated she met Jeffrey in the bathroom. He lay on the table and picked the massage oils. She provided the massage as he lay naked on the massage bed. She stated she rubbed his calves and back area.
Upon the end of the massage, Epstein removed himself from the massage table and paid her $300 for the massage. Redacted stated she had only been at the house approximately 5 or 6 times. Redacted said each time she went to the house, she was notified by Redacted, Epstein's assistant, that Epstein was in town and would like her to work. Esposito stated... Again, that should have been redacted. Now, this could be on me because I pulled all of these Epstein files the moment they went up. They've been sitting on my PC for a while. So, as I say, these could be accidentally released victim names, possibly something willful. But, as I say, these are victims. Do not dox them or contact them or delve into them in any way, shape, or form. Seriously. Right, where did it even say that? I keep losing my place. Where was I? Yeah, it must have been there. What, was I there? Yeah, I think I was. I must have been. Well, no, I'll start from the top just in case. My apologies. Also, it's getting close to midnight, so I'm just making sure... yep, I've got that all sorted out. So, one of my to-do lists at the end of every night is I make sure next day's videos are actually going to be released at the proper time. Because sometimes that's not happened. That's not been good. So, I just need to do that after this. I will see if I can go ahead and do all of these statements, because it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and it's something proper that I can actually read that isn't a data sheet. Redacted stated she had only been at the house approximately 5 or 6 times. Redacted said each time she went to the house, she was notified by Redacted, Epstein's assistant, that Epstein was in town and would like her to work. Esposito stated she returned to the house and was again led upstairs by Redacted. She provided the massage, clothed. Redacted advised it wasn't really weird until later on. Redacted was asked if she ever removed her clothing to provide a massage. Redacted stated it was not until the 3rd time she went that she removed her clothing. Redacted stated she was notified by Redacted that Epstein wanted her to come to work. She arrived at the house and was led upstairs by Redacted. She started providing the massage when Epstein asked her to remove her clothing. Esposito removed her pants, shirt, and bra. She stayed in her thong panties and continued rubbing Epstein. Epstein turned over onto his back and she rubbed his chest area. Redacted stated she knew he was masturbating himself as she provided the massage. Redacted stated she believed he climaxed based on his breathing. She did not want to view either the climax or the fact that he was masturbating. Redacted stated once the breathing relaxed, he got up and told her to get dressed. She was paid $300 for her services. Redacted stated on the last time she went to provide a massage, she was notified by Redacted to come to the house and work. Redacted stated she was now dating her current boyfriend and did not feel comfortable going. She recalled it was approximately January 2005. She said she went, already thinking that this would be the last time. She went upstairs and went into the master bedroom. She met with Epstein, who was wearing only a towel as he entered the room, to lie on the table. Redacted stated Epstein caught her looking at the clock on several occasions. Epstein asked her if she was in a hurry. Redacted stated her boyfriend was in the car waiting for her. Redacted, further, stated that Epstein got upset, as she wasn't enjoying the massage. She told him that she didn't want to continue, and she would not be back. Epstein told her to leave as she was ruining his massage. I asked her if she had any contact with Epstein's organization. She stated she received $200 from Western Union in Royal Palm Beach and Okeechobee Boulevard as a Christmas gift. Redacted advised she had no formal training in providing any massages. Redacted also stated she was 16 years old when she first went to Epstein's house. At approximately 4:22 p.m., I made telephone contact with Redacted at Redacted. She agreed to meet with me at a public place. I suggested she come to the police station for an interview. Redacted did not want to meet at the police station. I recommended we meet at the Palm Beach Gardens Mall in the food court area. She agreed, and an appointment was made for November 15, 2005 at 5 p.m. at the food court. Investigations continue. Narrative number 20. Reported by redacted 11/16/05. Entered by redacted 11/17/05. On 10/20/2005, I assisted executing a search warrant at 358 Albrillo Way in the town of Palm Beach, County, Florida, under the direction of Affiliate Detective Redacted. Detective Redacted and I searched the pantry room, that is west next to the kitchen. This room had all white cabinets with a dark grey and black countertop. We did not find anything in this room. We searched the yellow and blue room, that is west next to the pantry room. This room had a very large statue of a man with a bow. Taken into evidence from this room were 9 photographs in frames of various women. We searched the main entrance foyer, that is to the north of the yellow and blue room. This room contained 2 bamboo chairs and ottomans with cushions. It also contained a round table with numerous books. We searched another blue room that is west of the foyer. This room had a stereo system and bookshelves that were from the floor to the ceiling. Taken into evidence from this room were 8 photographs in frames of various women and or Epstein, the owner of the residence. We searched the room to the west of the blue room that has sliding glass doors that led out to the pool. In this room in the dresser were 2 DVDs and 2 VCR tapes. These items were taken into evidence. We searched a 2004 black Chevy Suburban bearing Florida tag redacted, registered to Jeffrey Epstein DOB redacted, which was located on the east side of the driveway facing south. I found a thrifty rental agreement between the passenger seat and the middle console. The name of the rental agreement was redacted from redacted. Palm Beach Gardens, Florida 33410. The phone number on the redacted... the phone number on the rental agreement was redacted. The vehicle rented was a redacted bearing Florida tag redacted. The vehicle was rented on 9/25/05 at 17:58 hours and was returned on 9/26/05 at 16:52 hours. The last 4 numbers of the credit card used are redacted. Detective Redacted found a piece of paper in the middle console that said I used the cash in here to fill up the tank and was signed by Redacted. I searched the 2005 black Cadillac Escalade, ESV bearing Florida tag redacted, registered to Jeffrey Epstein, DOB redacted, which was located on the west side of the driveway facing south. I did not find anything in this vehicle. All of the items that were taken into evidence were photographed in the place they were located and then turned over to crime scene. Narrative number 21, reported by redacted 11/17/05, entered by redacted 11/17/05. On November 15, 2005, Detective Redacted and I traveled to Redacted in Royal Palm Beach. We met with Redacted, a 17-year-old juvenile who was not in school this day due to a cold from which she was suffering. Redacted was told that I needed to speak with her in reference to an ongoing investigation involving a subject she would know as Jeffrey Epstein. Prior to speaking with her, I explained that because of the fact that she is a minor, I needed to speak with her parents prior to speaking with her. She telephoned her father, Mr. Redacted on his cell phone, and explained to him that Detective Redacted and I were there to speak with her. I spoke with Mr. Redacted on the telephone and informed him I needed to speak with his daughter in reference to an ongoing investigation. Mr. Redacted advised he had no problem with us speaking with his daughter. During a sworn tape statement, Redacted stated she met Jeffrey Epstein over a year ago. She was 16 years of age and was approached by Redacted, who informed her that she could make monies providing a massage to Epstein for $200. Redacted had informed her that she would have to provide this massage topless. Redacted made the arrangements with Epstein and his assistants and took Redacted to the house. Redacted stated Redacted, and she entered through a glass door that led into her kitchen. Redacted took her upstairs to her master bedroom and master bathroom. She recalled the bathroom had a large pink couch, sauna, and matching shower. Epstein entered into the room wearing only a towel. Redacted removed their clothing, remaining only in thong underwear. She further stated that Epstein lay on his chest on the table. Epstein selected which oils to use for the massage. Both Redacted provided the massage in his legs, back, and feet. 40 minutes into the massage, Epstein turned over onto his back and requested Redacted wait downstairs in the kitchen area for Redacted. Epstein instructed Redacted to finish the massage. As Redacted got undressed, Redacted started rubbing his chest. Redacted left the room, and Epstein began masturbating himself as Redacted rubbed Epstein's chest. Redacted stated he continued masturbating until he climaxed on the towel he was wearing. When asked if he had removed the towel, she stated he turned the towel around so that the opening would allow him to expose himself. After he cleaned himself off with a towel, he instructed Redacted the massage was done, and to get dressed and met with him downstairs. Redacted got dressed and met with Epstein in the kitchen area. She was paid $200 for providing this massage. Redacted stated she was aware that Redacted also received monies for the same thing.
Yeah, this stream definitely is not monetized. The VOD isn't going to be either. Sorry about that.
The second time she went to the house, she was again approached by Redacted. Redacted asked if she wanted to return to the house to provide another massage. Redacted agreed, and the arrangements were made by Redacted for her to return to the house. Redacted stated Redacted drove her to the house and knocked on the same glass door that leads to the kitchen area. They were allowed entry into the house by one of the staff members. Redacted led her upstairs to the master bedroom and master bathroom area. Redacted left Redacted this time to do the massage alone. Epstein entered the room again wearing only a towel. Redacted began removing her clothing, as she did the last time she was at the house. Epstein instructed her to get naked. He lay on the table on his stomach as Redacted began massaging his legs and back. As Redacted finished with Epstein's back and legs, Epstein then turned over onto his back. Redacted started to rub his chest, and he began masturbating himself. As Redacted rubbed his chest, Epstein leaned over and produced a massager vibrator. Redacted stated she continued to rub his chest as this was occurring. She described the vibrator massager as large, grey, with a large head. Epstein redacted. He then redacted, and concentrated on masturbating himself. Redacted stated he climaxed onto the towel again and informed her that the massage was done. Redacted got dressed and met with Redacted, who was waiting in the kitchen area. She received $200 for the massage. Redacted said she never returned to the house and had no desire to return to the house. Redacted was asked if she received any formal massage training. She advised she had no formal training. Redacted was asked if Epstein knew her real age. Redacted stated he knew, as he asked her questions about herself in high school. He was aware she attended, and is still attending, Redacted. The interview was concluded. I suggested Redacted inform her parents of what occurred at the Epstein house. Redacted stated she would tell her father, as he was unaware this had occurred. I left my business card for any questions they may have. We left the area and returned to the police station. The tape was placed into evidence. Investigation continues. Narrative 22. Reported by Redacted 11/17/05. Entered by Redacted 11/17/05. On November 15, 2005, Officer Redacted and I responded to the Palm Beach Gardens Mall food court section to meet with Redacted. At approximately 5:10 p.m., Redacted arrived and met with us at the food court. Redacted provided a sworn taped statement in which she stated she had been at the Epstein house over 50 times. She began going to Epstein's house when she turned 18 years old. Redacted was asked if she knew of the ongoing investigation. Redacted stated she was aware there was an investigation, as she had been told by other girls that were interviewed. Additionally, she has had several telephone conversations with Epstein's assistants as to what had been going on during the investigation. I asked Redacted how she was introduced to Epstein. Redacted stated she did not want to disclose who brought her to the house, but she would respond to any other questions. When I asked her what happened at the house, Redacted stated everything happened. It all began with the massages. Each time she went, more things happened. She would massage Epstein and he would masturbate and climax. She stated things escalated from there. She redacted. She stated redacted. He introduced his assistant, redacted or redacted, to redacted with redacted. She stated redacted or redacted would redacted. Redacted. She was told to redacted as Epstein and Nada has sexual intercourse. Nada. So, this could be the name of the assistant, because she was unable to talk about the co-conspirators. No, not the co-conspirators, sorry. The other victims, like the other girl she introduced to Epstein. So it could be, Nada could be the assistant, but there was, it was framed as a joke in a way, but there could also have been, another trafficking victim from an Eastern European country. Don't know for sure, but Nada's probably the name of the assistant. As Epstein and Nada had sexual intercourse. All this was done at Epstein's direction. Redacted could not provide exact dates, as she had been to the house so many times. Redacted stated Epstein inserted redacted. When I asked her if there had been any vaginal intercourse with Epstein, she stated she did not have sex with him. She did admit having redacted his assistant. Redacted stated not every time she went involved sexual favors. Sometimes she would just talk with him and get paid. I asked her how much she was paid each time she went to Epstein's residence. Redacted stated she got paid $300 every time she went to the house. She was told to bring other girls to him to provide massages. Redacted declined, stating that she does what she does, and did not want to introduce anyone else to do what she does. Redacted stated she had never received any formal training in providing massages. I showed Redacted a photo lineup in which Redacted was placed in position 6. She reviewed the 6 photographs and immediately identified Redacted as the person with whom she had intercourse. Additionally, it was the same person she watched have intercourse with Epstein. She signed the photo lineup under Redacted's photo as the person she identified. We then left the mall and returned to the police station. The photo lineup and tape were placed into evidence. The investigation continues. Narrative number 23. Reported by Redacted. 11/29/05. Entered by Redacted. 12/01/05. On November 17, 2005, I received a phone call from attorney Guy Fronstein, who advised to call his cellular phone reference his client Jeffrey Epstein. I telephoned his cell phone and left a message for him to return my call. I did not receive a call back on Thursday, November 17, 2005. On Friday, November 18, 2005, I retrieved another voicemail from my work phone from Mr. Fronstein, advising he would not produce his client Jeffrey Epstein for any statement. Fronstein stated he has spoken with ASA Lana Belshlovak, or Belolovec, and expressed Mr. Epstein has a passion for massages. I called ASA Lana Belolovec and confirmed that Fronstein had telephoned her reference this case. Although nothing was discussed, Mr. Fronstein did advise her that Epstein is very passionate about massages. I also spoke with ASA Delia Weiss, reference redacted. She advised that they had been served for a subpoena process server. They were both scheduled to appear on Monday, November 21st, 2005 at 12 p.m. On November 21st, 2005, I met with ASA Weiss, attorney, redacted at the State Attorney Office. ASA Weiss have requested a court reporter to be present to take the statement of the redacted. I spoke with Redacted in the presence of her attorney, Redacted. She advised she had worked for Epstein for 8 years, from the period of 1994 through 2002. She advised she had never had any direct conversations with him. She stated it was her husband who spoke directly with Epstein. Her work consisted of doing house cleaning, shopping, and other preparations when Epstein would arrive in town. Redacted stated the preparations consisted of preparing the house and bathrooms for his arrival. She advised she did view several masseuses that arrived at the house. She advised that 2 or 3 girls would come during the day and provide the massages. The girls that arrived looked young in age. Mrs. Redacted did not know any of the girls personally and were always different. She was told that when Epstein was in residence, he did not want to encounter the Redacted during his stay in Palm Beach. I then spoke with Mr. Redacted in the presence of his attorney, Redacted. Mr. Redacted stated that he was employed for 11 years with Mr. Epstein. He originally was hired as a part-time employee and then moved up into a full-time position. His duties included everything. Redacted stated Okay, let me redo that line. Redacted stated he was the house manager, driver, and house maintenance person. It was his responsibility to prepare the house for Epstein's arrival. When asked about cooks or assistants, Redacted stated they travelled with Epstein on his private plane. He remembered dealing with his girlfriend, Ms. Maxwell, originally, and then dealt with Epstein directly. I asked Mr. Redacted about massages that occur within the home. Mr. Redacted stated Mr. Epstein had up to 3 massages a day. Each masseuse that visited the house was different. Redacted stated that towards the end of his employment, the masseuses were younger and younger. When asked how many, Mr. Redacted stated they appeared to be 16 or 17 years of age at the most. The massages would occur in Epstein's bedroom or bathroom. There were times he recalled that he would set up the massage tables either in Epstein's bedroom or in his bathroom. I asked if there were things going on other than a massage. Redacted stated that there were times towards the end of his employment that he would have to wash off a massager or vibrator and a long rubber penis, which were in the sink after the massage. Additionally, he stated the bed would almost always have to be made after the massage. Redacted was never privy to what went on during the massages. He was asked if he remembered any names of the girls that massaged Epstein. He tried to remember and was unable to provide any exact names of the girls. Redacted was asked about any contact with anyone from the Epstein organization. Redacted said he did speak with Mr. Epstein shortly after my initial contact with him to find out what was going on. Redacted also stated that approximately on November 11, 2005, he was contacted by a private investigator from the law office of Roy Black. The investigator had called him to meet with him to ascertain what he was going to tell the police. Redacted stated they met at the Carrabba's restaurant in Boynton Beach and discussed the same questions I was asking him. I informed Mr. Redacted and Mr. Redacted that as this is an ongoing investigation and anything we discuss should be confidential. They both acknowledged the fact that the information would be kept confidential. It should be noted that a court reporter was present during the interviews and will be providing a copy of the statements to me when they become available. On November 21, 2005, I received a voicemail from Mr. Fronstein, who advised he would not be making Mr. Epstein available for any statements. He did have some words that he wanted to relate on behalf of Mr. Epstein. I telephoned his office and left a message for him to return my call. On November 29, 2005, I received a call back from Mr. Fronstein, who left a voicemail after hours on November 28, 2005, advising he would return my call during normal business hours to speak with me or reference the case on November 29, 2005. Narrative number 24. Reported by Redacted. 11/29/05, entered by Redacted. 12/01/05. On November 29, 2005, at approximately 2:30 p.m., I received a telephone call on the department-issued cell phone. Mr. Fronstein stated he was calling to relay information that Mr. Epstein wished he could relay. Mr. Fronstein stated that he would not allow Mr. Epstein to speak with me at this time. He further stated that Mr. Epstein is very passionate about massages. He continued that Mr. Epstein had allegedly donated over $100,000 to the Ballet of Florida for massages. The massages are therapeutic and spiritually sound for him. That is why he has had many massages. Mr. Fronstein stated he appreciated the way the investigation had not been leaked out into the media. Explained to Mr. Fronstein that it is as important to protect the innocent if the allegations are not substantiated. Mr. Fronstein was told of the allegations that the private investigators assigned to the case had been portraying themselves as police officers. Additionally, I explained that my cell phone had been called by the private investigators. Mr. Fronstein advised he was not aware of that, and advised they were under the direction of attorney Roy Black in Miami. Mr. Fronstein further stated Epstein had originally called Mr. Dershowitz in Boston, who recommended Roy Black in Miami, who asked Mr. Fronstein to assist. I informed him that if and when any charges would be presented, I would notify him. The call was then terminated. Investigation continues. Narrative number 25, reported by Redacted, 12/15/05, entered by Redacted, 12/16/05. A review of the telephone message books, which were obtained during the search warrant, was conducted in which various messages from different dates were made to Jeffrey Epstein. The telephone message books have a duplicate copy, carbon copy, which, once a phone message is written directly into the book, the top copy is then torn on the perforated edge, and the carbon copy is left in the book. Fucking hell. First names of girls, dates, and telephone numbers were on the copy of the messages. I recognized various numbers and names of girls that had already been interviewed. The body of the messages was time of the day that they called for confirmation of work. Other names and telephone numbers were located in which the body of the messages were, "I have girls for him," or "I have 2 girls for him." These messages were taken by Redacted for Jeffrey Epstein. Based on the context of the body of the messages, I requested subpoenas for subscriber information on the telephone numbers and the time frame involved. Copies of the messages were made for evidentiary purposes. I obtained redacted yearbooks for 2005, 2004, and 2003. I first reviewed the 2005 yearbook and located most of the girls I had spoken with. Additionally, I located redacted. Based on the corrected name spelling, I was able to locate her to her residence in Loxahatchee. On December 8, 2005, Detective Redacted and I responded to Redacted in Loxahatchee. Ugh, that's a weird name. I located Redacted at her home. She advised she is attending Redacted and is participating in the Redacted, so she can maintain her part-time job. As she is still a minor, I left my business card to have her mother return my call to request an interview with her daughter. We then left the area. I also had previously researched the telephone number for Redacted and telephone number Redacted. A subpoena had been issued for the information on Redacted. The telephone number was registered to Redacted of Redacted. A query of Redacted revealed that she is the daughter of Redacted and is currently residing at Redacted in West Palm Beach. Detective Redacted and I attempted contact with Redacted with negative results. I left my business card on her front door requesting she return my call. We then responded to Redacted in West Palm Beach. I also attempted contact with Mr. Redacted with negative results. I left my business card for him to return my call. On December 9, 2005, I received a telephone call from Redacted's mother, who was made aware of the ongoing investigation in Palm Beach. Redacted advised she was told of everything that occurred at Epstein's house involving Epstein and his staff. She advised she would allow me to question her daughter about what occurred and would cooperate with the investigation. Redacted provided me with Redacted's cellular telephone number to schedule an appointment for an official interview. I telephoned her cellular telephone and made a tentative appointment for Monday, December 12, 2005. I then received a telephone call from Redacted, father of Redacted, who stated he found the business card on his door. I explained that I was conducting an investigation and needed to speak with Redacted, as she may have information that could assist in the investigation. Mr. Redacted stated that his daughter no longer resides with him and has her own trailer in another trailer park. He advised he would tell her to call me. On December 12, 2005, due to a conflict with schedules, arrangements were made to meet with Redacted on Tuesday, December 13, 2005 at 5 p.m. On December 13, 2005, Detective Redacted and I traveled to Loxahatchee and met with Redacted. During a sworn taped statement, Redacted stated that when she was 16 years old, she was taken to Epstein's house to provide a massage for money. Redacted stated it was before Christmas last year when Redacted approached her and asked if she needed to make money for Christmas. Redacted stated she did and agreed to provide a massage for money. Redacted made arrangements to take Redacted to the house and drove Redacted to the house to work. Redacted stated she could not remember the street name but would be able to drive to the street. They drove to the last house on the street and pulled in the last house on the left side. They walked up the driveway and entered through a side gate, which led to a kitchen door. They knocked on the door and were encountered by an employee who Redacted described as a redacted-looking lady. They informed her that they were expected. They were then encountered by a white female with long redacted hair. Redacted was unable to remember the name of the white female with redacted hair, but knew she was Epstein's assistant. She was led upstairs by the white female, who explained that there would be lotions out already, and Epstein would choose the lotion he wanted her to use. She was led through a spiral staircase which led to her master bedroom and bathroom. The massage table was already set up in the bathroom. Redacted described the bathroom as a large, spacious bathroom with a steam room and shower beside it, with a sink to the right. Redacted was introduced to Jeff, who was on the phone when she entered. Jeff was wearing a white towel and lay on his stomach so that Redacted may massage his feet and calves. Redacted started the massage with a massage oil Jeff chose and rubbed his feet and calves. Jeff got off the phone and requested she massage his back as well. Redacted began rubbing his back and got to the small of his back. During the rubbing of his back, Jeff asked her to get comfortable. He requested she remove her pants and shirt. Redacted removed her shirt and pulled her pants off. Redacted stayed in her bra and thong panties. As she finished the small of the back, Jeff then turned onto his back. He instructed she Redacted. As she began to rub his chest, Jeff asked her questions about herself. Redacted remembered telling him she attended Redacted. Jeff asked her if she was sexually active. Before Redacted could answer, he also asked what sexual positions does she enjoy. Redacted stated she was shy and didn't like talking about those things. She continued rubbing his chest. Epstein reached up and redacted from the front. Redacted explained the redacted. Epstein redacted. Redacted said, "No, I don't like that." Epstein then removed his towel and lay on the bed naked, exposing his penis to Redacted. He began touching his penis and masturbated as he redacted. Redacted explained that Jeff then redacted. Redacted tensed up and stated Jeff was aware that she was uncomfortable. Redacted stated that Jeff told her, "Relax, I'm not going redacted." She further explained Jeff commented to her how beautiful and sexy she was. Jeff then redacted. Redacted said Jeff commented how redacted. He then redacted. She tried pulling back to redacted. Jeff redacted. During this time, he kept his redacted. Redacted stated he redacted. Redacted said he climaxed onto the towel he had been previously wearing and got up from the table. Jeff told her there was $200 for her on the dresser within the master bedroom. Jeff also told her that there was an additional $100 that was to be given to Redacted for bringing her there to massage him. Jeff told her to leave her telephone number with his assistant as he wanted to see her again. Jeff stated his assistant would contact her to work again soon. I asked her if she ever received any formal massage training, to which Redacted stated she did not. Redacted stated it was the only time she ever went to work for Jeff and knew what happened to her was wrong. She stated she no longer speaks to Redacted because she was upset that Redacted took her there. She further stated that she had never been contacted for any additional work. The interview was terminated and we left the area. The investigation continues. Wow. I'm just going to see how many more narratives there are, because I'm aware of what page I'm on, and I'm aware of how many files there are in this. It's still going to take a long time. If it turns out there's like something smaller after these narratives, like immediately coming up, then I can do the whole thing. But if not, I will probably end the stream here and carry on next time, which probably won't be tomorrow actually, because I have an end of month special. No, end of month special, which I think some of you are going to enjoy. It's going to be a little bit of a weird one, an unusual one for me. But also, there's an end of month community call on the Discord, and I want to be active for that. So the time is on the Discord. If you're on there, if you're not on the Discord, you definitely should be. Get on there, and it's under events, and we'll bring in, it's just a place where like all of us join the call, come in, say how we're doing, and get drunk. That said, I think these are. It's going to go all the way down to the bottom, I believe. Yeah. So, there's still going to be a lot of, narratives 46. So I'm currently at narrative 25. So 21 more narratives, at least by just this point. And there's still some other stuff to go through. Oh no, there's more. Okay. Yeah, so these could be like narratives from other people that are calling in. So yeah. So I know where we are. So we're going to continue next time from narrative number 26. I believe doing 25 narratives in this stream has been quite informing. I think once I do the rest of the narratives, I might try and clip both of those things together and release them together, rather than just like immediately release 1 to 25 of the narratives. There's still some heavy shit in there. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't expect it to be monetized at all. I mean, certainly I give it a go. I like to toe the line sometimes, or stick a toe over the line, I should say. But all of this money is going to go to charity anyway, so I'm not going to see a penny from it either way. Let's just have a look at the chat. Aaron, you're back. Yeah, I said it's a reminder for me. Yeah. Oh, Lloyd Taverite 2780. I probably mispronounced that. If so, I'm sorry. Thanks for doing all this. If I may suggest, as long as you have been having throat issues, it may be a good idea to take a day or two and just keep quiet. Never! I must keep going. Please take care of yourself. Well, I have recorded all the videos for this week.
And I am probably going to take the weekend off from doing this. Apart from the community call. The community call at the end of the month is tradition. So yeah, I can take a break this weekend. I mean, I've got to try and sort of find the time to write Galactic High, but I've had so much IRL shit happening the last couple of weeks that I've just not been able to. Like, for example, not this week. This week's been fine. I've sort of had keto flu, if you know what that is. If you know what the ketogenic diet is, that's what I'm sort of going on at the moment. I'm still going through the transition process of that. Where it's just, I just don't lack energy. I just don't have any energy, and I'm very sluggish. I'll get past that eventually, and before that, obviously, I had my grandfather's funeral and my family over and all of that, which, you know, is fine. I dealt with that just fine. So yeah, I will do my best to stay on top of things and to give my throat a rest. But my throat issues has been linked to more longer term health than anything else. I am getting various medicines that sort of help me out with that, like sort of sinus issues. I've got plenty of stuff for sinus issues. I'm also getting stuff for like reflux as well. And indeed the diet will help with that as well. So my hope is, I mean, you know, mentally, I just want to do this entire thing tonight. I can go, but also I know I need to give my throat a rest. I need to take care of my cats as well. Because, I mean, it was about 2 hours ago, I had to take Clara out because she was being too much of a distraction. But no, they've been good, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll go to sleep. So you'll probably next see me on Monday, if I have all of my ducks in a row. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for staying with me. I think a lot of this is going to be clipped. I'm going to clip it with probably when I finish it off next stream. The rest of Dataset 4 is a lot smaller than this. This is very much one of the important things I wanted to narrate. So I'm very, very glad I got to this point. And you know, there's all sorts of other stuff in there, but the purpose of these live streams is to show that I am going through all of it. You know, I might gloss over some things on occasion if I can't narrate it, for example, but I will mark the passage. It will show up on stream, even if it shows up for a small time. But stuff like this, yeah, absolutely. These are harrowing tales from various victims, and this is the story of the police just starting from one complaint of one girl's parents contacting the police. They're eventually able to crack this whole thing and blow this thing wide open with so many victims. And I mean, now we're getting like this lawyer who's saying that Epstein won't respond to questioning, but spoilers, they get him. Now we just need to get everyone else. And on that note, everybody, I've been yapping and rambling too much. I will do as is suggested and recover my throat. Anyway, ladies and gents, I shall see you next time. Bye for now. Oh, and come to Discord tomorrow. Or, I suppose later today because it's past midnight. Yes, end of month special. Join the Discord afterwards and come say hi, come ask me questions, what have you. It's for absolutely everybody. Barely managed chaos. We can have fun.